What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest and last episode of the winter season. Thanks for tuning in to FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent, Bodkin.
I'm Quaysie, Maule.
All right, so like I said at the top, this is the final episode of this season. Thank you guys for tuning in for all the episodes we've done. It's been a lot of fun for us. So again, finals weekend is here, Saturday and Sunday at Complex CN, of course, commonly known as Brassard. Make sure you guys come out. The action starts at 11 o'clock. It goes all day long Saturday, all day long Sunday. So make sure you come and check it out. If not, like we said, obviously, go onto that YouTube channel, go on to Facebook Live, and you get to see your friends, your family, or even yourself play afterwards, right? So let's hop into it. I know we usually start at the bottom. We usually start Division 6B. We're going to start at the top. So we're going to start at the cream of the crop here in FPF Division 1. We have a special guest coming up who's eager to get onto the podcast, a friend of the podcast as well. We'll reveal who that is in just a few minutes. But let's get into the first matchup here. Division 1, we have a battle of the number 1 seed, the 10-0, looking to complete that perfect season. The Party Crashers, the number 1 seed, taking on the number 2 seed, the perennial champions, usually the Kings of the Mountain. I'm talking about the 6-4, at least in the regular season. But of course, we're talking about here the Braves. Again, like I said, one of the top teams in the history of FPF. Party Crashers looking to keep that perfect season alive. The Braves looking to add to the championship mantle. Big matchup. They met earlier in the season, all the way back on week 8. The Party Crashers with a dominating 45-31 win. Again, that was back in week 8 on February 23rd. Jean-Lee Alexis, the quarterback for the Party Crashers, 7 touchdown passes in that game. Now Quaysie, you played against the Braves plenty of times, right, in your career. I don't know how many times they've let up 7 touchdown passes in a game, but Jean-Lee Alexis was on fire in that contest.
Yeah, he's having a great year. I mean, the whole team as a whole is having a great year. Their defense is unbelievable. There's a reason why they only allowed 205 points against this whole year. But again, it's the Braves, right? So I do think Jean-Lee should not struggle as much. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a game plan. I think both teams are going to have a game plan going into this. But as you kind of what you kind of were saying, that no, they do not usually allow seven touchdowns. That's pretty much 35 points with converts as well too. You're looking at it's way more. 7 touchdowns, sometimes 6 is 42. You said they have 44, right? So they didn't get that many converts. They got 2 converts in total. So it could have been way higher. But again, Braves do not usually allow more than 40 points, even close to 30 points. So it's going to be very interesting to see if he's going to be able to repeat that appearance in the finals.
Definitely. Looking quickly at how both teams got here, Party Crashers, they beat One Stop 26-16 in the semifinals last Saturday at Brassard. And the Braves also in Brassard last Saturday, edging out the Vultures 24-21. I know you were in Brassard. Did you have a chance to watch either of those games?
Yeah, so I actually got to watch both of those games. Party Crashers was One Stop. It was kind of close at the beginning of the game, to be honest with you. Going into halftime, I want to say it was 8-6 for One Stop. So they were pretty much really in this game. Second half, it kind of went one side of the Party Crashers. Their defense came alive. They kind of basically put on a factor that there's a reason why their defense was the best defense this year. So pretty much, I think they got 2 INTs in the second half, and they were all over the place. They got loud. They're hyping each other up. It was a really one-sided half towards the Party Crashers, and that's the reason they won this game 26-16.
Okay, and obviously with the Braves, like I said, they edged out the Vultures 24-21, a tight win for them. Again, just going back to that week 8 matchup, right? Like we said, Jean-Lee Alexis, again, 7 touchdown passes in that game. Mamadi Kaba had a monster of a game, 6 catches, 119 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Usually you look at the Braves, right? It could be Gab, Dab, Champagne, James Drysdale, Jeremy Murphy, even the guys like Will Trache, Emil Chadover, even Mike Pierre-Saint. Used to those guys having over 100 yards receiving and multiple touchdowns. Besides Mike Pierre-Saint, who had 74 yards, no other receiver had more than 59. this Party Crashers defense really came out and really shut down Joe Mahill and his offense. I mean, they scored 5 TDs, but and this is the Braves we're talking about, right here. 5 TDs is nothing for them. And looking at their offense, right, the 31 points they scored, for some teams that's a great timeout, right? That's a good game. But the 31 point score for the Braves is one of the lowest totals they've got this season. They scored 7 in week 1 without Joe Mahill. Pardon me, week 3, I should say, against the Vultures. Other than that, they've scored on an average of about at least 30 points a game. There's another time they were held to 24 by one stop. But all that to say, right, 31 points for a team like the Braves is well under what we would expect from a team with that much championship and that much big game experience. How do you think the Braves kind of overcome that week 8 showing on offense and kind of rebound here in the championship?
They're going to have to go over the top. They're definitely going to have to try to expose Party Crashers and go over the top. Again, easier said than done. But Joe Meyer is going to have to air the ball. He's going to have to, usually like he likes to do the little dump. He likes to dump the ball, let Mike, let Emil, let those guys do some yard cards. The double quarterback also as well works pretty good with them. We'll say, but right now, Party Crashers, they're too smart. They're not missing tackles either. They're not giving you a bunch of yak yards where Emil's getting the ball and he's able to juke 2-3 guys and he's scoring touchdowns. They're not giving you anything like that. They're playing anything underneath very aggressively. You kind of can see even their game versus one stop. I don't want to say their guys were kind of flat-footed, but it was to a point where if the ball was thrown underneath, you had 3-4 guys coming down right away, compared to a lot of teams when you see a matchup that they have across the board, they don't really have a weakest link. So quarterbacks don't even dare to try to go over the top to them. Again, Braves do have 2 of the top receivers. You have Jerry Murphy, you have James Drysdale. Again, the 2 crazy receivers that could do it, but they're actually going to have to do that. They're not going to be like, it's to a point where John Mayer is going to have to put the ball up in there. And maybe it's going to be 50-50 balls because, again, these defenders know what they're doing, and they're really aggressive. They play man-to-man or literally across the board, and they're not really scared to even show. They're not scared to show that they're playing man-to-man. It's to a point where they feel comfortable to be like, our best 6 versus your best 6 beat us. And I think that's the difference. I think that's the big difference with the Party Crashers this year. I think they're more like, they're always a team. This year I think they're just connecting so well. So John Mayer,
to
answer your question, Joe Meyer's gonna have to go over the top. He's gonna have to try to beat them on some goals, some post corners. They're gonna have to win some one-on-one matchups.
All right, so of course, then it's going to rely on then the defense. Obviously, guys like Mendel, Joseph, obviously Johnson, Alexi, right? Jordan, Alexi, Fitzgerald, those guys to really shut things down on the deep ball. Switching sides to the Party Crashers, right? Like I said, in that game, Alexi again, 7 touchdown passes, 296 yards. I mean, we'll say 300, right? I talked about Kaba, 3 touchdowns. Emerson Peterkin, right? He had 2 touchdowns. Mendel Joseph had a TD. Rith John Giroux, the former U of M quarterback, he had a touchdown as well, right? How do the Braves defense, how do they slow down not just the size of the Party Crashers receivers, but their speed as well?
They're just going to have to be aggressive the way they kind of are. And I guess they're also going to have to make sure they take away the double quarterback from Jean Slee and Peterson. And like, again, they don't run it as often as much as they do 5v5, but it's something that's still run pretty well. And the fact that you have a quarterback like Jean Slee and his mechanics are not the same mechanics as most quarterbacks, where he does throw away where you can't cheat as much. Like, again, I play against Jean Slee as his quarterback, and it's like he looks one way, he throws the other way. Like he runs he's running left and he's throwing right, cross body. And like, you don't see a lot of quarterbacks do that. I think one of the most common quarterbacks that kind of did that was Theo Ojea back then when he was playing with Brotherhood, and it was to a point where no other type of quarterbacks do that, right? You see a lot of athletic players do that because they kind of have the arm strength and they just kind of do it anyway, compared to like a real standard quarterback. But the Braves are just going to have to make sure they stay whole, don't give anything over the top, and make Jean Slee literally just drive down the field. If they start giving 40-yard bombs to certain receivers, it's going to be a long night for them.
Okay. If you could pick an X factor for either side, who would that X factor be?
It's going to be Mendel.
Okay, so
On
for
the
the party
Braves
crashers,
or on sorry, which team? Yeah.
both.
So for Braves, definitely Mandel. I don't know if he's gonna match up on James or Jeremy, but that's gonna be a crazy matchup. Regarding, he's gonna have to pick one of them. I'm not sure which one he's gonna pick, but that matchup, whoever he's on, Jeremy or on Murphy, and then I'm gonna give two guys for the Braves. It's gonna be Jerry Murphy or James Drysdale. One of these guys have to have a big game. It doesn't matter if James goes for 5 touchdowns and 200 yards or Jeremy Murphy goes for 5 touchdowns, 200 yards. One of these guys are going to have to win their matchups and kind of just take over.
Okay, and who are you picking in the game?
I'm going to take Party Crashers. For 6v6, I'm going to take Party Crashers.
Okay, all right. So Party Crashers is going to finish on the undefeated streak. I'm going to go with the Party Crashers as well. I think this is the year, like you said, right? They would play a lot before, a lot of one-on-one ball, if you will, like great athletes, right? Fantastic athletes, a lot of guys with tackle backgrounds, right? But they would try to use that athleticism in Division One and wouldn't always work out, and they would make mistakes, whether it was Jean-Lee Alexis or even Fred Dupuis at quarterback. They would make those crucial mistakes usually late in the game. They're avoiding those mistakes this year, and I think, like you said, they're playing together as a team, and I think when they do that, they're unstoppable. Hence why they're 10-0, and I think they cap off the perfect season and they knock off the Braves.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right. Let's go to Division Two. Mm-hmm. So we went for Division One, where we had a team who was 10-0 first place and a team who was in second with the Braves. This is the total opposite for Division Two. So we have the number 6 seed, the 6-4 Silent Ticklers, a team that's been knocking off favorite after favorite every week. So congrats to them on making it to the finals. And then we have the number 7 seed, 5-5 Hard 8, of course, led by our very own Jeff Rosenblatt. So two teams heading for the championship this weekend. Maybe not the two teams that everyone thought thought would be here in the finals. I know a lot of people were saying maybe KGP Legends, LeBron Tourage, obviously one of the top teams as well. Looking at how both teams got here, right? Last Saturday as well, where we had the semifinals in Broussard. Silent Ticklers laying a 15-point beatdown on Idaho Ute Pimps, knocking them off 45-30. So that was a huge upset. And then we have Hard 8 knocking off the number 1 seed LeBron Tourage 42-38. So Quaysie, before I ask you to get into this game, I gotta say both to the Silent Ticklers and Hard 8, I was wrong. I picked against you guys on the podcast and I picked against you guys in the article. So 100% I was wrong. That's my bad on that. I will have the article coming out. We're filming this on Thursday, so the article will be out tomorrow on Friday, who I'm picking for this championship game. So I'll give you my pick in the article. But again, I was wrong, Silent Ticklers and Hard 8. So congrats on you guys for proving me wrong and making the finals. I'm excited. This should be a good matchup. And the thing I like about this Quaysie is a lot of a lot of friends on both teams, right? Daniel Mancini, Jordan Panetta, Jeff Rosenblatt. These guys have all played together before. They're playing in 5v5, right? So there's a lot, Ben McMahon as well, right? So there's a lot of familiarity between these two teams. What do you think is the biggest factor going into this game?
I think the biggest factor is going to be how both quarterbacks play. Silent Tickers played Idaho in the semifinals. Jordan Panetta played a pretty good game, but Brady played a horrible game. So I think that was one of the big factors in semifinals. Brady threw 5 INTs. His first one was okay. It was not bad. It was just kind of a bad read. I'm pretty sure Jordan Panetta kind of came under the ball, got the interception. But then his other 4 were just horrible passes. Like it was like kind of, I think one ball he threw the ball right to Danny Manzini, literally like straight right to him. And it was kind of like he was the receiver. It made no, like I think he was also shocked when the ball was thrown to him. So it's definitely going to be it's definitely going to be on the quarterbacks here. Same thing for Jeff as well too. Jeff played an amazing game versus LeBron Tourage in the semifinals. He went 6 for 6 touchdowns, 0 INTs, completed more than 60% of his passes. He had things rolling. So I think it's definitely going to be on the quarterbacks. And again, LeBron Tourage, Philip Peltier. He threw 2 INTs, right? So I think, again, quarterbacks are the biggest factors going into this finals.
Okay, definitely. when you look at both teams, right? I mean, listen, hard eight, right? We look at the roster all the time, right? I mean, obviously, it's Jeff's team. He has a really good squad. Obviously, a lot of veteran leadership, a lot of size in that back end, right? We're talking about, of course, Gab Dab Champagne, I believe. He's on the team. You have Sanders Armand. You have Paul Lapierre, right? You have a lot of size on this team. You have some speed as well, too, right? With some of the players on the team, Jacob Saxner, Craig Ye, they're on this team. Nick Gropini, right? Obviously a solid two-way player. So there's a lot of skill on the team. Mac DeSource, Anthony Breezeball. So Breezeball, I didn't know he was actually eligible to play. He had 4 games played in the regular season. I assume he had a doctor's note for due to an injury, so he was eligible to play in the playoffs as he has, and that's obviously a big factor, right? He could shut down someone at corner. He makes plays as a receiver. So this hard eight squad, if you look at the two lineups beside each other, I don't think it's a stretch to say the Hard Eight does have the better team, but you look at this team and their opponents, right? And the silent ticklers that we talked about, right? Jordan Panetta, this has been a squad forever. Guys like Tanner Burrell, Mike Zanobi, Daniel Mancini, who you talked about before, right? He's on the team. Jack Antaki, there's former Alouette there. Tyson Otis Copeland is on this team. They have Adam Rosen. They have a lot of weapons, right? And they added Ben McMahon recently, right? So that's I think McMahon, I could be wrong, but I think McMahon is kind of that extra gear they needed, right? Because this team, I've written about the silent ticklers forever, and I talked about them on this podcast through many seasons, and they always they have the talent to go all the way, but they never do. They always seem to trip over themselves and make mistakes at crucial times in games. And so far during this playoff run, they haven't done that. Obviously, so again, adding a guy like McMahon, who may be kind of a steadying force again. Obviously, Ben kind of still looking for that championship there. When you look at both teams, who do you think has the advantage offensively, and who do you think has the advantage defensively here?
So I'm gonna say for offensively, I'm gonna give the Silent Ticklers. I think the chemistry between Jordan Panetta I think the chemistry within Jordan Panetta, Danny Manzini, and Adam Rosen is probably two of the best three of the best combinations you could ask for. They've been playing with each other for so long, right? So it's to a point where I don't know if they have certain routes where they can run whatever they feel more comfortable doing, but it's too you can see it. This is the reason why Danny Manzini has the year that he has always with Jordan Panetta. It's his go-to guy. He knows where to go when he has to go. Same thing with Adam Rosen. It's like run a post, and all of a sudden, if you have the corner, break out the corner, and Jordan still ends up throwing the corner. They're just synced because they've been playing for so long. So I'm going to give offensively, I'm going to give it to Silent Ticklers just because their chemistry is more. I think it's more intact compared to Hard Eight, where they kind of just built a powerhouse roster. I'm not saying their chemistry is not there. Just been playing with Anthony Breezewell for a while. He's been playing with Sanders for a while too in that co-ed. Gavin, this is his first year playing with him. I just think chemistry-wise, I'm going to go with Silent Ticklers to a point where I would take Hard Eight if it was talent-wise, because I think they're more athletic, more talent. But chemistry-wise, I'm going to give it to the offense. I think when you have really good chemistry with your guys, it's a bit. I feel like it works out a bit. It works out a bit better, especially if your guys are still I don't want to say as athletic as Hard Eight's guys, but I think it does go a long way. And then defensive wise, I'm gonna give it to Hard Eight just because they're more athletic, and I think they have a good group of guys to understand what they're doing. If this was a mix of, let's just say, tackle players and flag players together that are just athletic, it wouldn't work out, right? But you have literally a group of guys that understand what to do for this team. So on defense, I'm pretty sure they roll with Sanders, Breezewell, Gab. I think Jacob rushes for them. Then you have Nicholas Rapini. You have Mac, which does a great job. And then you also have Paul Lapierre that also comes in as a rusher too if they need some height. And then you have Greg as well too that kind of helps his team too with his defensive skills. Yeah. So I think even though their chemistry is not the greatest with this team, because I think it's a lot of guys that kind of are just put on a team. They don't really have played as much regarding players like Gab, Sanders, and Breezewell. I think that's the first time they all fully played together on the team. I know Sanders, Breezewell, Greg plays on on Raw Dog, so they kind of still have that chemistry. But just all these guys are kind of put together, and they're just kind of making it work. But they're all smart guys, right? They all understand how to play defense, and they understand their role. They're not going to do too much. They're not going to do little. And again, they're athletic as hell, so that even works a bit better. Like if you're telling me this is a roster we're going up against, you don't have a lot of options where you could kind of do, because they have such a good back end, right? You have Gab, you have Sanders, like jump balls. I think when they played LeBron George had one last play going into the second half, and it was a jump ball, and I'm like, it's impossible they're getting this jump ball. And LeBron George had some decent athletes, right? But when you're throwing a jump ball and you have Gab in the back, you have Sanders in the back, you have Breezewell in the back, like I don't see that ball going over anyone's head. So I'm going to give offensively goes to Hard-8. Offensively goes to Silent Ticklers. Defensively goes to Hard-8.
Okay. These two teams met early in the regular season back in week 13, so not that long ago, back on March 29th. Hard-8 with a 10-point victory. They won 42-32. Jordan Panetta, 210 yards, 5 TDs, 1 INT. Jeff Rosenblatt, 19 of 29, 215 yards, 6 TDs. So yeah, Nick Rapini, who you talked about, he had 3 touchdowns in that game. Sanders had 2. On the other side, Daniel Mancini, so he had 3 TDs for his team. So kind of a close game, but again, a 10-point win is still a 10-point win, so it's Hard-8 getting a victory. Quickly, what do the Silent Ticklers need to do to get revenge and walk away with the Div 2 title?
They're going to have to score. They need points. Jordan Panetta is going to have to kind of go, not hurry up offense, but every single drive they're going to have to score. Their offense is good enough to put up at least 40 points at Hard-8 if Jordan, like if everyone's on the same queue, and he definitely can't throw INT. I think INT is going to kind of slow things down, and he has to get Danny Mancini going earlier on, like just feed him the ball. Back in the week 13 game, Danny Mancini had 4 catches. He needs more than 4 catches. Adam Rosen only had 2 catches. Yep. These guys need to 6 targets, 3 targets. It's not enough. Like way more catches, and he has to make sure. If there's a quarterback that's going to throw INT in this game, it has to be Jeff. It can't be Jordan. I feel like if they throw that INT and Jeff is kind of on his game, if it's to a point where, and I'm going to say this, if Jeff doesn't throw INT in this game and Jordan does, Hard-8 wins this game 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
And then you're kind of saying, well, he didn't throw INT, it's kind of easy. It's easier to say, one quarterback threw INT, other quarterback doesn't. But we've seen games where a quarterback throws INT and they still win by 10 points, because their defense guys have built them off. I don't think Silent Tickler's defense is going to be able to stop this Hard-8's offense. I think it's going to be kind of toe-to-toe back and forth regarding both teams scoring. And I think whoever kind of takes their foot off the pedal, and doesn't score, or for some reason gets picked off, I think that's going to be like the game changer. Conference as well. Conference as well too.
Okay. Who are you picking?
I'm gonna take Hard-8.
Taking Hard-8? Okay, you know what? So I'll give my pick here, because by the time the article will come up before this episode gets released, so ignore what I said the first couple of seconds. I'm gonna pick Silent Ticklers. I've been picking against them, so I know that kind of gives them some motivation to prove me wrong. But I've always said, but I'll say it again: this team has the talent to win a championship. They at least since I've been writing for Division 2 or Division B, whatever you want to call it, they haven't. So I think this is the year so far they haven't been able to get in their own way. Their deep ball defense, which had been a weakness in the past couple of seasons, doesn't appear to be the case this year. I think again they've knocked off some favorites, right? They've knocked off the KGP champs, right? We talked about that, right? They're knocking off a lot of favorites actually to kind of make their way to this point. So I think they have what it takes. Again, Hard-8 is no joke, right? Jeff has put together a great team, especially with that size on their defense. I just think again that there's something about the Silent Ticklers team I don't know what it is. Again, I picked them to lose. I thought for sure they were going to lose to Idaho U, the Pimps. I picked them to beat Campy Boutin, so I'll give them the credit, right? They knocked off a favorite in Campy Boutin as well, right? So, I mean, there's something about this team. And again, Hardy has done the same. Like, Hardy has knocked out KGP Legends. They knocked off LeBron Trash, right? The two top teams in this division. I just think there's something about Silent Ticklers. Again, knocking off Campy Boutin, knocking off Idaho U, the Pimps, especially the Idaho U, the Pimps game. It wasn't all that close. I mean, five INTs is five INTs. I don't expect Jeff to throw five INTs. I do agree with you, though. I think you're right. I think Jeff is going to have to throw at least one INT for the Silent Ticklers to get the W. But you know what? They've proved me wrong so far. So I think they'll prove me. I think this time I'm not going to bet against them again. I'm not going to bet against the Silent Ticklers again. I'm calling for a Silent Ticklers victory. I'm going to say 42-40. I think will be the final score.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, I can see the game going either other way. I just think right now the way Jeff's playing as well too. This guy made three. He's making three final appearances and he's playing great. All his semifinal matchups. I mean, I guess again, co-ed 5v5. He played a great semifinals. Co-ed 6v6. He knocked out Kevin Wyatt in the power of that powerhouse team, and then again. He doesn't really play raw dogs, so it is what it is. But Hard 8, he's been playing amazing, you know. So I feel like right now he's kind of on his groove, and when Jeff's on his groove, it's kind of hard to get him off of it.
That is true. That is very true. That is very true. I'm excited to see this matchup again. Like I said earlier, right? They play on other teams together. Guys like Mancini, Panetta, obviously Ben. Jeff. So, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. These guys know each other pretty well, right? Both sides know each other pretty well offensively and defensively. So we're going to see, again, I expect a pretty fantastic game between both teams. I know that'll be the 4:00 game on Saturday, day one of championship weekend in Broussard. All right, let's go to Division 3. So our matchup for D3 is an interesting one. So we have the REIT taking on Les Rancers. So the REIT is the 5 seed. They finished 7-2-1 in the regular season. Les Rancers finished 8-2. They had the 2 seed in the regular season. Again, these two teams locking up for the finals. That game, Division 3, their finals will be on Sunday. First game on Sunday, 11 a.m. So I'll be on that game. Oh, Wolfless Quaysie will be on that game, making the call. We have a special guest as well from the REIT, friend of the podcast, main man himself, Keyon Cyrus. He should be on your screen right about now. If not, he will be in a few seconds.
All right. Hey, guys.
Hey, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks.
How you doing?
A few days until the finals, so it's going to be pretty exciting. A pretty big weekend overall for FPF.
Okay. So, did you cut you got rid of the dreads?
Yeah, I'm restarting.
I haven't seen it in a couple of weeks, dude. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's been saying that when I show up on the fields.
Okay. Can turn your head to the side. Let's see the freshness. Oh, sure. Okay. All right. What caused you to get rid of the dreads?
It's for my triathlon training. I'm just restarting them because they're too thick.
Okay.
So hopefully the next, by summer, I'll have my little dreads back.
Okay, all right. You had them for a long time, right?
6 years.
Okay. How did it feel? Sorry, I know it's not a hair grooming show, but how did it feel when you first got them off your head, when you saw yourself in the mirror for the first time?
Much lighter, definitely. I'm not used to just not having I'm not used to not having all that hair. It's been a while.
Let me talk to Quaysie, man. Quaysie knows what that's all about, man. Get rid of some of that hair, man. You feel a little faster. I'm just joking. All right, man. So yeah, like I said, man, your team taking on Les Rancers coming up. First game on Sunday. What type of you guys haven't played them in the regular season? Yeah. So what kind of game? I assume you know a little bit about them and you've watched them at least. What kind of game are you expecting on Sunday?
Honestly, just a really good game of football. We watched the end of their semifinals against the Hustlers. So we watched because we played right after. So we ended up seeing the Nicolas Boucher catch, which was a really nice catch on Isaiah Allard to win the game on the last play. We know that team talks. They are physical, but they also back it up. They're talented. They have a really good roster on both sides of the ball. So we don't expect it to be an easy finals regardless, but we've also proven that we've done well. The beginning of the season was tough. Like Santino hasn't thrown a ball in 4 years. This team hasn't really been back since 2022, 2023. So it was the beginning of an adjustment for us. And so we finally found our groove back. But we also know Les Ranceurs is also playing with a lot of firepower because they claim that they don't get talked about a lot. I know you guys have definitely heard it from them on the podcast. So we know that they're going to be fired up as well. And so honestly, throughout the game is just we think it's going to be a really overall good game. But like for us, like we still think we're confident enough to win.
Okay. Looking at your playoff road so far, right? So you guys started off division round. You beat the All Stars, right? So obviously a quality team. You guys knocked them off. Sorry, pardon?
Blacks.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Probably were saying something. Okay, so you guys knocked off the 12th seed, the All Stars. Then you guys knocked off one of the heavyweights in this division, right? You guys knocked off Win Diesel.
Right.
I mean, pretty much every year we talk about Win Diesel, one of the top teams in whatever division they played. So they were the 7th seed, and then you guys just finished up knocking off a veteran Terror Squad, right? The number 4 seed. What, in your opinion, has been the key to your success so far in the postseason?
Honestly, a lot of our defense. Like I know that some of the games that we do allow a lot more points that we want, but we also make plays. Like the All Blacks game, our rusher Michael, who's like 6'7", he got if not mistaken, I'm not sure it was a touchdown. He batted down and ran back, or it was a convert. I think it was a convert. Like he batted it, caught it, and ran all the way back, and that was like the momentum shift of the game. Against Win Diesel, we got picks towards the end, which were big, and then even against Terror Squad, like Tam didn't have the best game by all means from what I've seen him play, but we were also able just to pick him off when the opportunity presented. So I would say our defense has been really more locked in and stuff like that. Like we don't really give up like busted coverages as much, and it's just we're all like communicating and stuff. And plus we're all now like the same reps of the same guys playing, so everyone kind of knows their assignment. So we've been kind of more clicking on defense.
Okay. Speaking of defense, right? So you're playing again, Les Ranceurs, right? The All Blacks, again, team you beat in the first round of the playoffs, they had the number 1 defense. Les Ranceurs have the number 2 defense in Div 3, right? They got some ball hawks, Eric Nams on their defense, right? Guys, Nick Boucher, Giovanni Antonacci. So he's a player that's been in the league for a couple seasons now. He's making an impact. There's guys in the short, there's guys in the deep in their position. How do you, after beating a really good defense in All Blacks, how do you guys now face another top 2 defense really in Les Ranceurs? How do you guys handle their defense?
I think we attack them from all 3 levels, in the short, the medium, as well as going deep. Trying to make sure they don't like know what we're doing. We have a lot of plays where we have good concepts all over the field, I find, and it's like kind of choosing which one works. They also have a good rusher in Khalil. So like we do know that like Santino's gonna have it, like obviously not the height mismatch, but again, he's quick, he's shifty, he knows how to get the ball out to like his receivers, and our job as receivers pretty much is getting open. Our playbook is not that complicated, but like we also know we build chemistry throughout the season in terms of, again, all 3 levels of the field. We have really good receivers. I would say a pretty solid group of like talents. So us is just getting the ball open and just like getting space and just like scoring.
Okay.
Would you guys say that you guys have a better roster than the Ranceurs?
Better roster. I would say we're more coherent together, like chemistry-wise, just because I know most of the guys have played together. But I know that they also play outside FPF 2 together. Like, I'm not sure if it's the whole team or a good chunk of them. So, I mean, I find that we're very different rosters in a sense. Like, I find that they also are a bit more on the taller end. Like they're much bigger guys compared to us. Like we do have a few bigger guys, but like we also have a lot of like smaller guys, like the Speranias. We have Gattuso, even Matt, who's the captain of our defense. Basically, he's not like the tallest guy, but like he's physical, he's fast, and so. But in terms of like the roster, I'd say they're very similar, just very much different though.
Okay, the main reason I'm asking is because looking at your roster and looking at their roster again. Is not the fact that they haven't been in the league as long, I mean, they've some of their guys has been playing for a while.
Yeah.
But you just have more well-known names,
Yeah.
more you would say, I don't want to say playmakers, but just guys that are kind of more out there compared to them. So I was kind of curious to know if you thought, like, again, it's a bit biased on that on your end, but it was more to a question where, like, if you had to put who is more athletic, would you say it's you guys or it's them?
I mean, yeah, I guess if we're going to bias, like I would say us, but they're not like by all means a team for us to take lightly. I've seen them. I've filmed them a few times in Brosser throughout the playoffs, so I know how they could be. I also know like their physicality in terms of height, and they they might not have the players that are as known as maybe like a Nick Ropinian on our team or just Baranias, but like they have guys that can make plays. I've seen it. I've recorded them, and we've seen it on ourselves against them. So at the end of the day, like they're in the finals for a reason. They're 8-2. They're on a hot win streak. They have like confidence and everything, and so we know that they're going to come out with their best game. So at the end, whether we're the more athletic team or not, I still think like we still have to like put in our A game, or else like they're going to beat us if we don't.
Okay.
All right, and looking who on your offense? I know you're talking a bit before about your defense, right? Like what you guys have to do. But who's one player in particular you know for sure you guys have to either take out of the game or at least slow down to help out your defense?
I would say Boucher for sure, especially on converts, because we've seen them run a lot of the very much of the same plays on converts. It's like usually a deep in, but he gets their quarterback gets the ball to him in the right spot, and he could jump. He likes to play in the air. He can deal with contact. So I think take away, and he's also shifty, especially when he gets the ball off the catch. Even though he's a tall receiver, he's shifty. He'll try to dance around us. So like us making tackles is really important. If we can at least limit him, we can at least focus on like Gio and Eric, who are again great receivers in their own right too. Which I think in terms of the energy, a lot of it does come from Nicolas Boucher. So, and again, I give him props for it because he's a really great receiver and defender. But if we could just at least limit him, especially on converts, where like the game might come down to converts at the end, like if we could stop him, especially as their first read, and I'd like our chances.
Okay, nice. All right, so again, best of luck to you and your crew. Obviously, again, you guys are in the first game, kicking off the action on Sunday at 11 a.m. The REIT taking on Les Ranceurs. I'm looking forward to both, like I said, Quaysie and I will both be calling your game. And now, like I said, you guys are in that prime spot, right? Again, you're getting everything started. It's a long day, right? We start at 11 a.m. We finish at about 11:15, 11:30 at night on Sunday. So it's going to be a long day. So again, looking forward to you guys kicking off the action in Broussard this Sunday.
Perfect. I really appreciate it. It's going to be fun. So I'll see you guys there for sure.
For sure. All right. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate you as always. And again, good luck on Sunday, sir.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
You and your fresh cut on the field now. Looking sharp.
Appreciate it. Bye.
All right. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Brent, who do you have winning this game? 2 picks.
Good question. Good. Now that Keyon's gone. Good question. I'm gonna take Les Ranceurs, man. To be honest, man, that defense wins championships, and I like what these guys are showing me on defense. I tried to reach out to Eric Nams to come on the show. It was a last second ask, so he didn't get back to me, which is sorry, it happens. So yeah, again, that defense though I think is like top 2 in the league, right? Literally, it is top 2 in Div 3. So I'm gonna pick that defense to win that championship for them.
Okay. My issue with them is I just sometimes it's hard to get on a team if you just don't know like the players. I think that's my biggest problem that I have with them, and I think that's the reason why we kind of didn't talk about them as much like going this season, even though they didn't have the greatest start of the season. Mm-hmm. But more on the bias that we didn't really know who they were, right? And now that the fact they finished 8-2, they had the best defense, and even at that, like from going to week, like let's say week 7, week 8, when they were 5-1 or 5-2 at that stage, or maybe 6-1, or I'm not exactly sure their record like on point, but we still weren't even talking about them, right? So I guess it's a bit bias on our point of kind of just not showing them any love, but it's also we didn't know who the hell they are. So the fact now they're in the finals, like I'm leading towards them, But then I'm like looking at the roster of the REIT, and then I have Nick Scorpini, which is a dog, Michael Shafir, the rusher, Tristan Gunther Norris as well too, former Concordia player as well, Dawson Piai,
Yeah,
I'm,
I hear
I'm
you.
trying to,
I hear you.
It's like, but again, their answers they're in the finals for a reason, right? They're not.
That's it.
With
Like
all that
I,
being,
I've sorry,
sorry,
I've seen Eric Naps play before. Giovanni Antonacci. I've seen him not this season. I've seen him play before. Like I came away impressed with this guy. Khalil Agrebi, the rusher. I've seen him play. I think once this season. It could have been with this team again. We scorekeep a lot of different games, a lot of different fields, and again, this podcast, there's a zillion teams in the league. We're not going to be able to see every team, so we apologize for not talking about this team as much. But like you said, they've made the finals, right? I mean, this is what it is. I mean, the quarterback Jeffrey Mumbenge, I have not seen him play. I'm just looking at his stats, right? 32 touchdowns in the regular season, only 6 INTs, completes over 65% of his passes. So obviously the offense is carrying the weight too. But again, that defense, right? They let in, I think, 205 points the entire year, second best in this division. That has to count for something, right? You don't do that by accident. So again, you're right. Bigger names on the REIT, 100%. 100%. I'm not questioning that at all. I just think, again, defense wins championships. And I think if they can get at least one or two stops in this game, I don't see, talking about the roster, I don't see why they can't win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Easier said than done, but
no, 100%. No, for sure. There's a reason why they only allowed 206 points. Like if you really think about it, in Division 3, that you only like, besides the team All Blacks, which is kind of insane, only allowing 176. That's literally 17 points a game, which is insane, to be honest with you. Like 162. So that's 16 points a game, which is, that number is actually insane. If you're looking at Division 3, I'm not sure exactly how their schedule was. Maybe they played the bottom end, so kind of makes a bit more sense. But the Ranchers are at 205. It's impressive. Allowing 30 points in this division. Division 3 by far. I think Division 3 is the hardest champion. It was the hardest division to win a championship. There was no buys. No one got any buys. There's not like, oh hey, congratulations for finishing. It was, hey, congratulations for finishing first seed. Now you got to play a 16 seed, which scored, let's say, the Pizza Cat first matchup when they played Ballhawks. Congratulations, your reward to finish as a first seed is playing a team that's averaging 30 points per game. There's no like, you're like, oh, okay, sick. Like, okay, that's amazing. Compared to sometimes you end up playing, you usually get a bye, and you're like, okay, this is great. And then you get an upset, and like, oh, get to play versus weakest team. No, you're gonna play a team that's scoring 30 points a game. Like, just take that in, how crazy Division 3 is. So there's a reason why they're there. But with all that being said, I am going to take the REIT though to win.
All right, fair enough. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have our picks for that one. Let's hop over to Division 4A.
4A, yeah.
And so 4A, we have Ambush taking on 6-3-1 Ambush taking on 9-1 Trap Stars. So Trap Stars finished first in this division, whereas Ambush finished fifth, right? So not too big of a separation in the standings between these two teams. They had a showdown back on March 1st. It was a 27-24 win for the Trap Stars back in week 9. So not that long ago. Again, 27-24 win for the Trap Stars. Ryan Garber, 4 TD passes in that game, 2 of them caught by Noah Libline. On the other side, Gab Dab Champagne, we talked about earlier with the Braves. He's the quarterback for Ambush. He had 3 TD passes in that game. All 3 went to Ben McMahon, playing 99 yards to go along with those 3 TD catches. Gab Dab Champagne did get an INT as a quarterback, and he got one as a receiver as well. Again, close game, went down to the wire, but again, a 3-point win for the Trap Stars. Going into this game, what do you think is going to be the biggest thing the Trap Stars need to do to get the sweep and get the championship?
Disturb Gab. Big Gab not comfortable throwing the ball. Again, Gab's kind of a new quarterback. He's kind of trying it out. He had a decent season with his team, but when he's not comfortable, he throws bad balls, right? We got to see kind of I think it was their quarterfinal game or their semifinal. They won 42-43. So that would be their up here.
Yeah,
They
43 for
played,
yeah, that was
versus Nut and Run,
divisional
43-42, where they went
quarterfinal.
overtime.
Yep.
Yeah. So that game, Gab didn't like. He still scored 43 points, which is insane. But he threw some pretty bad interceptions, and he didn't seem as comfortable on some drives. Some drives he did, sometimes he didn't. Also, his receivers did make big plays. Then they played Back to the Future, where I feel like that was a decent matchup for them. I think Back to the Future, when you have the quarterback like Justin Guthrie, again, he's a receiver turned into a quarterback, right? So I think it's like Gab's a receiver / DB turned into a quarterback, and now you're playing Guthrie as a receiver. Well, I don't want to say DB as much because he's more a receiver guy, but turned into a quarterback. So when you're playing versus a non-physical quarterback that's actually throwing the ball, I think that's a better matchup for ambush compared to playing versus a straight quarterback. Yeah. I'm sorry, what was the question? What were you getting at?
I was saying, how did you answered it, right? I asked how did the Trap Stars win?
You have to get Gab uncomfortable. I think that's the biggest thing. That rush from, I want to say it's Felix Seabag. I think that's the rusher for Trap Stars. He's gonna have to have a game. He's gonna have to make sure he contains Gab. Don't let him run. Make him to a point where he doesn't feel comfortable using his legs. When you start doing that, that's where all the bad throws happen. If he feels comfortable and he knows that he's able to outrun you, mostly in most quarterbacks, same situation. When a quarterback feels comfortable on a rusher, that's where it becomes a big problem. If he doesn't feel comfortable and he feels like he's not able to use his legs, that's when you start throwing the balls that's when you start throwing bad balls. You start throwing on your heels. You just start big bad reads. You don't feel as comfortable. And that's the advantage. If Trap Stars could do that, they're definitely going to be able to take this game.
Okay, so speaking to your point, Seabag, he had 2 sacks when they met last time. Switching sides now for ambush, how do they kind of get revenge and get the last laugh here by winning the championship? What do they need to do?
Their defense is going to have to show up. They have to make sure that they don't give up any easy touchdowns, so nothing over the top. Let them drive, and then when they get into red zone, just literally shoot everything left and right. You have a quarterback that's Ryan Garber. Yeah, he's, again, Trap Stars, I think from day one, I'm pretty sure I said this team was going to win a championship. They made a lot of a lot of final appearances. Pretty sure they have a few too as well. Their roster going up and down. They have Ryan, they have Felix, they have Ryan, Felix. I'm pretty sure they have what's their rusher's name? It's like I'm just gonna pull up their.
I know who you're talking about. Hold on, I've played against this team before.
He tore his ACL, his thing a couple of times. Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper Young. That's it. Yeah, Cooper Young. Exactly. Yeah.
They have Brian. They have Cooper Young. They have
David
Jordy.
Drew. These guys have been together for a long time.
They have one thing I have to say with their roster is that they have a lot of guys that they've been playing exactly for a while. They have David Giroux as well. So this roster, like, they understand. This is the example where they're not the most athletic guys, but their schemes work, especially for 5 of 66, where it's 10 yards for a first down. Ryan Garber has schemes that work for his guys, and even though it's not like a 40-yard bomb, it's more 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards. It's where it frustrates you, and you just want to make a play, and all of a sudden you try to make a play, and they hit you with a post wheel, and the wheel's wide open. You know, it's like it's kind of like, I want to say it's like an offense like Stephen Harper saw from
exactly.
Outlaws, like that. Or you have a Joey a Joey Taylor, where you have with 2.5 Dans. That's the type of offense that he runs, where it works perfectly, and it just frustrates a defense. You know, so it's gonna be like I feel like if they just play their game, that's what they're going to have to do. But Ambush is going to have to really don't jump the gun. Like at the end of the day, they're going to score touchdowns, but you're going to have to make them earn it. So yeah, give them the 4, give them the 5, give them the 4, give them the 5. And when it gets to red zone where they don't have that much space, you're the more athletic team. Take away a side because it's all levels to one side, right? All these offenses, you're throwing 3 guys to one side or 4 guys to one side. When you're in the red zone, your 3-4 guys don't have that much space to actually move around with. That's where you have an advantage with a team like this. They level one side where you can have one defender cover 2 guys because they're so tight, and then that's where you start flowing and you let them try to – and then your rusher's coming. Rusher gets there faster. He puts one up there, and I have to say if the ball is in the air for too long, Gab's going to come down with it. So that's one thing Ambush is going to have to do. Just don't give them anything easy. Let them drive down the field. Don't give them any 40-yard bombs, 30-yard bombs. Just nice, easy. Let them drive down the field. Just let them drive down the field, but don't give them any huge plays.
So I played against this. It's not the same. Well, Ryan Garber was a quarterback. It was almost the same team. So like Jordy Malnick was on his team. He played Cooper Young. I played against him first game of the season last spring. We had it. So we actually were missing a regular quarterback. We had my main man Keyon as quarterback. We beat them. We beat them 43-20. But what you're talking about was exactly it. We took away the deep ball and we forced them to march down the field that we drive. And they did. We were up at the half 31-13. So I mean they threw a pick 6. It was game 1, right? So they were a little disorganized. But I remember they were frustrating us a couple of times on 3rd down or even 4th, right? Where they were converting because they would pull like a play. We'd flood a side of the zone where the quarterback went to, and they would find someone leaking on the backside or someone leaking behind the defense, and they would have like these little plays you're talking about where they would pick up first downs where you thought that, like, you had them stop, and somehow they would pull like a rabbit out of a hat, I guess you could say, and find a way to convert. Again, we got the W, but like you said, like it wasn't the final score wasn't indicative of the game. It was we won by 23 points, but it didn't feel like a 23-point win, if you know what I'm saying. Like it was hard to get them off the field, and we had to basically shut down the deep ball to make them a one-dimensional offense. And even when we did that, they were still able to get some yards on us. But yeah, like you're saying, for Ambush to get the W, yeah, they're gonna have to make sure they take away the deep ball from Trap Stars. If you're Trap Stars, again, like you said, frustrating game is going to be the thing they need to do. Who do you give the edge here to athletically when you look at these two teams?
I want to lead towards Ambush just because they have Ben and Gab. I mean, I think those are 2 insane players. They're D1 quality players. Ben, I still watch Ben play his Division 1 game playing versus the Braves, where he was juking half the team and scoring running touchdowns. Like it was top, right? I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of guys are going to be able to catch Ben an open field. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to kind of do that. And also to a point where if the ball's in the air for too long, it's going to go advantage towards Gab. I don't think anyone's able to jump as high as he does and make a play on that. So I'm going to give that advantage to Ambush. But chemistry-wise, if we're kind of looking at it like a chemistry point, I'll give it to the Trap Stars. I think they've been playing with each other for a while, and I think they'll be more composed to a point where Trap Stars could afford to throw INT, where Ambush, I think if they throw INT, I think it's going to be it could be a point of the game where they lost because it could be the point of the game where if they throw INT, that INT could be the reason why they lose. Where Trap Stars, I think if they throw INT, I think they're able to come back and kind of group together and still stay with the same program that they're running, same offense, and kind of continue doing what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Okay, who are you picking for this game?
I'm gonna go Trap Stars.
Final score.
30, 25-24.
Okay, 25-24. Okay. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna say ambush. I mean, both are veteran teams, but I think ambush won't make as many mistakes as they did last time, and I'm gonna pick them to get the W. I'm calling ambush 32-28.
Okay. All
Cool.
right.
Let's go to Division 4B. So the matchup, yeah. Okay. So yeah, the matchup we have here for Division 4B, we have the number 8 seed Balls Deep, so 5-5 records. So again, just at 500, taking on the 12 seed, the team we talked about a lot, Grab Belief, right? Grab Belief, the 12 seed, 3-7 records. So again, you don't have to have a winning record to make the finals, right? You just got to make sure you get into the playoffs and do what you can do. Balls Deep won when they met in the regular season back in week 10 by a score of 41-26. What do you think Grab Belief needs to do to get revenge here?
Just keep doing what they're doing. Just keep doing what they're doing. Whatever they're doing, keep doing it. Don't change anything from going into the divisional round, going into the finals. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you guys are playing 3 quarterbacks there, play with 3 quarterbacks. If you're shifting 2 quarterbacks, I saw them in the quarters where they're kind of switching quarterback. Keep doing what you're doing. Right now, you guys are on a roll, and use that momentum to keep going. They're a team where they get hyped off each other. They kind of bounce off each other when they do. They'll juke one player and their whole team will start screaming. Doesn't matter if it's for 10 yards or for 2 yards. They'll scream. They'll get negative yards and they'll juke a guy and they're still screaming. So just use that momentum, use that hype, and build off of that. You don't see a lot of times where a guy gets juke, he'll go backwards, he'll juke an air guy, and then it'll be a catch for 1 yard. Most guys are like, oh, just catch the ball, go up the field. No, they're getting hyped for their guys. They're jumping up, and they use that as motivation. They drop picks, but they make a good play on the ball, and their guys are not mad about it. Like, oh, great play, let's go, no fly zone. They get hype off of that. Where sometimes that's what you need compared to people saying catch the freaking ball or don't drop the next ball. It's to a point where it's negative because they didn't make a play, but for them it's positive. Even though they didn't make a play, they didn't make the INT, they still were there to make the play. So I think they just have to keep doing what they're doing and have fun. They're the one team to a point where even if I've seen them lose a couple games, I see them win a couple games, they're the one team that they're having fun out there. Games that they lose, it seems like they won. Games that they win, it seems like they lose. But to a point where because they're not performing as well, but they're still just having fun with it. So you're like, how does the team have so much fun while winning, and how does the team have so much fun while losing? They're all smiling. It's to a point where you can see that they enjoy the sport and they're having fun out there, which that's what we're kind of here for, So just kind of keep doing what you're doing, have fun at it.
Okay. Switching sides, obviously, when you look at Balls Deep, obviously, veteran squad, right? Justin the Weir Brothers, Jonathan Justin Weir, Matt Peacock, shout out to those guys, Shanton Smith, a couple of my buddies, Curly Mikor, right? Another guy on the team. You know what I mean? They have some playmakers on the squad, and they have more experience, right? Because again, Grab Belief, a lot of guys formerly and even currently of Champlain, right? A lot of guys in the first couple of seasons here in FPF, whereas Ballsy, but a lot of guys who've been in FPF for a number of seasons. How much do you think this experience factor is going to be a factor in this game?
I think it's going to be a big factor if everything works out for Balls Deep. If Justin Weir kind of is on point and he's able to roll his offense and kind of gets and takes advantage of what's given for him, I think it's going to be a big factor regarding time, possession, stuff like that. If he doesn't feel as comfortable, and Shamar is kind of against the Shamar, I'm pretty sure Shamar's going to be rushing for grab relief.
Yeah,
if he's able to kind of shut Justin down with his legs, then I don't think the experience is going to be as favored towards Balls Deep, just because Justin's going to be struggling as a whole. And when that happens, there's only so much experience that it can help you out when your quarterback's struggling. So I think if everything's going well, it's going to be a big factor. But if things are not going as Balls Deep would want it to go, I don't think it's going to be a huge factor.
Yeah, looking at the stats here, so I've played with Justin Reed before, a great guy, and I've called a ton of games for Darius Reed, right? So two quarterbacks, again, not the tallest guys in the world, but guys who have strong arms. They love to throw the ball, but the guys who could really, really do some damage with their legs as well. I'm just looking at the stats right now. They've combined to rush this season for 800, 209 yards. Both quarterbacks averaging 12 yards a carry. Darius, I believe, I'll tell you right now, Darius has 3 rushing touchdowns. Justin has 5. So again, two guys that can throw the ball, but they're not afraid to take off and run when the first and second read isn't there. How do you think both defenses slow down these mobile quarterbacks?
Contain them. Contain. Maybe send double rushes, send one rush outside, delay a rush. Just make sure they don't get to use. Make sure they don't feel as comfortable using their legs. I know sometimes what they do, a lot of teams do, they'll have 2 guys line up inside, and one guy, the guy that usually rushes, they'll send another guy. So the quarterback kind of would assume that one guy's rushing, and then all of a sudden another guy's rushing, and then he starts getting in his head, and he's like, rusher. They kind of start asking questions, and they don't feel as comfortable. So just kind of try to get in the quarterback's head, and I think whoever's able to basically whoever's defense is able to make the quarterback rush for less yards, I think is going to be able to win this game.
Okay. Again, two exciting teams going at it. I'm super excited to watch this game. I know it kicks off on Sunday, I believe. Yeah, 6:15. This one starts. Who do you have in the game?
I'm gonna go with Grab Relief. Right now they're on a roll. Yeah, right now. To be honest, if you asked me this 4 weeks ago, I go, "Are you stupid?" I'm going balls deep by 30. But the way they're right now, Grab Relief's the way they're playing, right? They're playing great, and I feel like this matchup they have versus balls deep, it's not a bad matchup. Just because you're playing versus a quarterback that's going to run, Grab Relief are not selfish either. They will send whoever they can as rusher. For them, it's not the guys are not complaining about rushing. It's to a point where they'll talk shit to each other and be like, "Let me rush. I'll shut them down. I'll rush.
Yeah,
where sometimes you have guys where I'm not rushing, and it's like in your head, it's like someone else has to rush. If you can't get them, someone else has to do it. And it's a team where it's like, oh no, I'll rush him. I'll shut him down. You guys want to see me shut him down? You want, and they'll like talk. You want to see me how you want to see how you have to rush him. You want to see how it's done, and they'll literally change it to their best player. He'll rush. They're not selfish, They're to a point like, okay, if you can't do it, let me do it. I can do it, or like, and it's to the point where like the rusher will get juked, and they'll be like, oh, you got juked, like, oh, let me go, change. It's like, but like you don't see that with a lot of teams. You see the rusher get beat, and then it's like, okay, you have to do a better job. Not like, okay, let me try. They'll try it. They'll literally. I've seen them switch rusher 3 times, just because the guy's not doing a job.
Same.
But I feel like that's something that's gonna be a big factor because again, don't get me wrong, Justin's a great quarterback, but if he can't use his legs and he doesn't feel as comfortable, those are when he starts doing those bad passes. He's running cross. I've seen this guy run the cross. He's thrown crossbody to really bad receivers. Really bad targets, whatever, where it gets picked off. And they're athletic. They're athletic to get down the field, and they're athletic to make plays. So I just think regarding these 2 matchups, I'm going to give it to Grab a Leaf to win this game just because I feel like it's a great matchup for them, and they're on a roll.
Okay, no, that's fair. Like I said, Grab Leaf knocking off the Peacemakers 46-30 to get to the finals, and Balls Deep knocking off the Studs 39-32. Yeah, I'm torn, man. I'm torn. Like I like both these teams a lot. Like I'm friends with guys on both sides. I've played with some of these guys as well. I know exactly what you're talking about with Grab a Leaf and those guys being super competitive with each other in a positive way, right? Busting their balls, getting after each other. Yeah, I'll rush if you can rush. I'll play quarterback or whatever the case may be. I've seen it when I score kept 3 games as well. And I know Justin, he's athletic as heck, right? He likes playing in those high competitive games. When he's on, he's on. But when he's off, he will throw some bad INTs sometimes. I'm gonna give the edge here to Balls Deep just because I think that veteran FPF experience is gonna be the deciding factor that can carry them to a win. I think this game might even go to overtime, to be honest with you. because both teams are electric. Both teams have tons of playmakers, and they're all good guys as well, right? Yeah, I want to give Balls Deep the overtime victory, 28-26.
Okay. Let's
All right,
go
let's go
5-8.
to 5-8. So
Yeah.
this matchup I'm interested in, man. I'm interested in this matchup as well. We have the number 4 seed, 9-1, the Thunder Buddies taking on the number 3 seed. Pardon me, 8-2, College Saint Jean Vianney alumni. We talked about a little bit about this last week, right? So again, two teams going at it. They did not meet in the regular season. Obviously, the Thunder Buddies, right? Terry Babau's team, great guy. One of the referees in this league. He's been here for a long time. One of the top quarterbacks in this division. I like the fact with this team, right? They have the 2 quarterback monster, him and Simon Valaquette, right? Both guys. Terry threw for 32 touchdown passes. Simon threw for 17. So they always have to look out for that. And obviously, you talk about Thunder Buddies, you got to mention Will Power, right? Will Power, most people would say, and I think rightfully so, definitely the best player in this entire division, right? 16 touchdowns, but he had some company, right? Like Matthias Cuisino, top-notch receiver, 9 touchdowns, right? Quentin Leduc, right? 439 yards. This team has some weapons. It's not a one-man show, despite the fact that Will Power gets a lot of the headlines, and rightfully so, right? He's one of the best players in all of FPF. Looking at the other side, though, College Saint Jean Vianney, right? This team is no joke. This team, like they've made their run. They're a team like you look at them from top to bottom. Right? You start off. You look at this roster. You look okay. You go down. So you look okay. Alex Benoit. I've seen him play. He's definitely a good quarterback in this league. 34 touchdowns, 6 INTs in the regular season. Right? He's a good quarterback. I've seen him play the last couple of seasons. He does a good job of getting the ball in his receivers' hands. Right? Let's talk to receivers. Antoine Gadet and Michael Frenier. Right? Both those guys combined for 23 touchdowns, right, in the regular season, and both guys had over 400 yards, right? So that offense is no joke. Their defense is all right. They can get after some people. They have a couple of ball hawks. So Lafreniere, Godet, both guys 4 INTs in the regular season. Alex Sotu, another guy they could pick off the ball. Thomas Bombardier, right? So both teams have some playmakers. I will say, though, Thunder Buddies, a team I'm more familiar with. I have seen them play more games because they've been in this league longer than the College Saint Jean Vianney alumni. What do you think the Thunder Buddies need to do to get the W here?
Just play their game. Terry has to kind of be on his point, on his game, make sure he's running his offense. Don't get discouraged how much man you're going to see from CGS, CJ Vandy alumni. They play man-to-man. They have the matchups across the board. It's going to be a point who's taking away Will Power. I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues, one of the biggest problems for them. He's sneaky good. That's the problem. Will Power is sneaky good, right? You kind of look at him, you're like, oh, this guy's not going to do anything, and he burns you for 4 touchdowns and 200 yards without you even realizing. But again, I played Sean Vanny. I played against these guys, and they're good. Like, I don't usually say this a lot about a lot of teams, but for up to down, all these guys could play. It seems like they all played back in the day too. I think that's one advantage, and they feel comfortable out there. Regarding Thunder Buddies, again, like they just kind of have to play their offense and kind of how they've been playing for the past season, right? There's a reason why they're 9-1, and there's a reason why they're playing in the finals. I kind of got to watch a little glimpse of their semis versus Speed Academy Junior, and they look great. Terry was using his legs. Terry was running. He was doing everything he had to do to win the game. You know, he threw one bad INT, which was okay, whatever. But other than that, everybody touched the ball on that team. It didn't matter if it was the left receiver, it was the right receiver. I want to say 6-7 guys on that team caught that ball. And he was just sharing it out, you know, and then when he had to use his legs, he used his legs. Looking at the stats, I just got to open here. He ran 5 times for 39 yards. And I'm telling you, all those 5 times were like, I felt like it was calculated. It was like he ran when he had to run. It was perfect timing. And then he just did what he had to do. So I think we're going into this game versus Saint Jean Vanny alumni. He's going to just have to continue with the same game plan, don't do anything that's different and kind of just make sure he feels comfortable in the pocket because they are going to play man to man. I want to say at least 50% of the game. So he's going to have to find willpower and kind of just use that as X factor when he has willpower doing those drags left and right. Because again, when you're playing man to man, it's kind of hard to keep up with guys that are just kind of running across the field and becoming like a main target.
Switching sides, like what do you think? Sejan Vanni is going to have to do to at least offensively.
Score,
Okay.
and score. Just keep scoring. They want this game to be a shootout. They want to score 40 plus points on these guys. Thunder Buddies all year. I don't think anyone kind of got into a huge cage match with them. You had Voodoo back in week 12 where the game ended 39-38. Deep Balls 33-32, and then Toon Squad 46-45. Every game Thunder Buddies have been in a shootout, they won the game by 1. So they want to make sure that it's the opposite. It goes the opposite where if they're scoring 40, Thunder Buddies are scoring 39. If they're scoring 50, Thunder Buddies are scoring 49. If they're scoring 45, they're scoring 44. They want to make sure that they need to score points and make sure Thunder Buddies score 1 point less, because going down the whole season, it's to a point where Thunder Buddies they finished 9-1, but they easily could have finished 5-5 regarding how many games were one scored sided. Yeah.
All right. Who do you have winning this game?
I'm going to go Thunder Buddies, just because I feel like if for some reason Saint-Germain do make a few mistakes, it's going to take them a while to come back, or they're not going to feel as comfortable. I'm going to go when it comes to higher divisions, I like to go more experience other than talent, because I think the quarterback position is so big. And I feel like Terry just kind of understand what he has to do where it comes to certain defenses, where Saint-Germain, I feel like they can lose, they can kind of get out of the game before they even know it. Where I feel like Terry's going to just kind of run his offense, how he runs it. Doesn't matter if you're playing man-to-man or you're playing zone-to-zone. He's going to run what he's been doing the whole year, and he's going to win those games by 1 point. He's going to get that extra convert. He's going to do what he has to do to win games, to win this game.
All right. Yeah, you know what? I'm honestly leaning with you too. I think Terry will have a couple of throws. You're like, ooh, you might want to hold your breath there for a second. Like, that could be picked off. And again, Saint-Germain alumni, I mean, they have a couple ball hawks on their team. I just think that when I look at Thunder Buddies, I think they're a bit more deeper of a team offensively, right? I feel that college Saint-Germain is a bit more. They have some skill players. Don't get me wrong. I can't see them holding down willpower for an entire game. And I think just the fact that, again, Thunder Buddies has more experience playing collectively together, at least in FPF and even other leagues as well, right? I think that's not for nothing, right? And I think that's going to matter. So I'm going to pick Thunder Buddies with a close win. I'm going to say 28-26. I think Thunder Buddies get the W.
Okay. Let's go 5B.
Yeah, so looking at 5B here, the matchup we have for our championship weekend, again, like I said, coming up this weekend here at Brassard, Saturday and Sunday. The action starts at 11 a.m. We have the number 12 seed Deep Zone Penetrators 5-5 taking on number 8 seed the 6-4 Catch and Flex. Both teams did not meet in the regular season. Catch and Flex, like a lot of names we're familiar with in FPF, right? Alex O'Neal, I'll tell you, Quaysie, I've seen this guy play the last couple of seasons. I've kept a ton of his games. I think he's a really good quarterback. And I believe he started off in Division 6 now, obviously now in 5C. I think he's a guy in about a season or two, he should be playing at least, I'd say, Division 4A, Division 3. He's that good. I think he's on the rise in terms of young quarterbacks in this league. Main man, Richie Mondesir, obviously he's on the team, former quarterback, stud receiver, two-way player, all-star this season, right? He's on the team. Dallas Oldham as well, right? We talked about last week a little bit, Elijah Dupuis, Stanley Williams, and some playmakers on their team. Muyo Ije, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Muyo Idris on the team as well, another playmaker for the squad. Deep zone penetrators, right? Samuel Langley, I've seen him play. He's a good quarterback. He's underrated. He's a good quarterback in this league. Talik Batiste, right? Him and Elliott bore two top receivers on this offense, right? Those are the two guys who pretty much catch all the touchdown passes for the squad. Looking at it here, I had this in my notes. I was gonna go back and see what I had for the touchdown total, but that's one thing that stood out. And yeah, combine those two have 19 touchdowns this season, right? And they both have over 300 yards. No one else on the team has more than three touchdowns, and no one else on the team has more than 14 catches, right? So that tells you, right? 25 catches for Elliott Board, 25 catches for Talik Baptiste, right? So they get all the shares, all the yards, and all the touchdowns for this offense. I'm leading catch and flex Quaysie. I think they're a deeper team, especially offensively. I think they have the more talented roster, but what do you think?
I'm gonna be a bit biased, and I'm gonna go off what Jamie OJ has said from We Ain't Dead with the '90s. His exact words were, "Nah, that team is serious," and he was talking about deep zone penetrators. He lived that. His exact words were, "No, that team is serious." He's like, "I knew they were good, but I didn't know they were that good." So to kind of hear that from him kind of shows that they're the real deal. If he's gonna say something like that, and he also we Ain't Done with Nice only scored 12 points.
20 to 12 win by deep zone penetrators.
Their defense showed up, and so I'm gonna go again. It's been a big division, a lot of teams. These are kind of two teams where I didn't really look as much. I thought we were gonna get a matchup between the powerhouse team. So Bend Don't Break, We Ain't Done with the '90s, Shattuck Community College. I thought it was gonna be one of these teams. So Catch and Flex and Team Zone Penetrators. I mean, I didn't really look at them as much. I've seen Catch and Flex play a few games, especially in their playoffs runs too. They're a good team. It's kind of crazy to kind of say, well, why are you going with how you're gonna pick a team like that? But if it's coming from Jamie, I'm gonna go with what he said, because he's not gonna say that for the fun, right? He could have said, "Oh, we didn't play well. That's the reason why we lost." He literally said, "No." His exact words, "No, that team is legit. I knew they were good. I didn't know they were that good." So after hearing that, I'm sold. So I'm just gonna jump on the bandwagon, and I'm gonna go with deep zone penetrators.
All right, JMOJ, yeah. When he talks, it's good to listen. Obviously, one of the veterans. Him and his brother. You talked about Theo before, right? Two like the legends here in FPF for over a decade. Yeah, I hear what he's saying. I've seen deep zone penetrators play a couple times this season, more in seasons past, but I have seen them play a couple times this season. Their defense is legit. I'm not sure about that offense, man. I mean, their offense is pretty much at least a receiver. It's kind of only two guys getting all the work. And I think the catch and flex defense will be able to kind of take care of that, right? Because you talked about these zone penetrators when they gave up 12 points to We Ain't Done with the '90s, which is impressive. Don't get me wrong. But catch and flex, when they gave up 12 points to the McGill swim team, they also put up 54 points on the McGill swim team.
Swim team only had a 5-man roster going to that game.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's just because Keyon was giving before. That is true. You are right about that.
It does make a big difference. I'm sorry, playoff. You're kind of you're 5 guys on the field, like. It's not even saying you're the best 5. Maybe they weren't even the best 5 guys. I'm not being disrespectful to McGill swim team, but maybe like you have the top guys and you have the bottom guys. Maybe they had some of the bottom guys. So it does make a big difference for 5 when you're playing 5v6. And it's like there's only so much you could do as well. So I don't want to take too much away from catch and flex. At the end of the day, I've seen teams lose versus 6 versus 5. So it is
that's exactly.
It is a thing. It's just I think 5 versus 6 or 5 is kind of. I don't want to go base it off. Oh, you guys scored 50, only scored 13, and give them the benefit of the doubt for that. If we're kind of maybe looking at their quarterfinal matchup where they played, Catch and Flex played
Shattuck Community College.
Yeah, that was a good game for them. Winning by 4, and we kind of talked about it, where their player made that big stop, and then there was the OC that happened, and then we had what was his name? not Richie. Who made the game-winning touchdown? Roster.
For catching flex?
Yeah, Stanley Williams got the game-winning touchdown, and he was the main reason why they won. Also,
right.
Elijah Dupree also had a huge game those 2 sacks. Like that was a good game for catch a flex. You know, that was more realistic going off of that. But again, it was to the point where if Chattagee Community College didn't do what they did, they probably would have had a bigger chance to win that game. But
all right.
Besides that thing, I'm gonna go with Deep Zone Ventures.
Okay, I think you might have turned me on this game. You think you might have caused me to go to your side. You know what? I'm gonna stick with my original thought was catching flex with the W. I'm almost on the fence in that one, but I'll stick with what I first said. I think catching flex will get the win. My sureness of that isn't too high, but defense wins championships. And like I said, if people are vouching for this defense, I gotta respect what these zone penetrators are doing. But I'll give the slight edge to catch and flex in this one.
Okay. Right. Division 5.
5C? No.
Yeah.
5C? Yeah.
5C,
yeah. You're right. Division 5C. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So 5C, we got the Panthers taking on the Studs.
Top 2.
So this should be a good game. It's coming up Sunday. Sorry?
I said this is probably one of the best 2 games.
This is probably one of the best 100%.
We have the top 2 teams, the 1 seed coming against the 2 seed. So that's gonna be a great matchup.
Yes, the Studs 10-0, Panthers 9-1, right? So I mean, you can't ask for much more than that in terms of top teams going to battle. Looking at the regular season, both teams did not meet during the regular season, so that's a good thing. Like I said, the Panthers losing 1, so that was all the way back in week 1, right? They lost 27-20 to Royal Flush, or you could kind of flush that game, so to speak, down the toilet if you want. How does, if you're the Panthers, right? How do you finish as champions? What do they have to do?
To be honest with you, both these teams, I feel like they're similar. I feel like they're kind of the same type of teams. I like both of these teams. I think they just both kind of have to play their game, and I think it's going to come down to converts. I think both teams are going to score. I think both teams are going to get some stops. I think converts are going to be huge for this game. I think there's going to be some missed tackles. There's going to be some blown coverages. Teams are going to go over the top. Teams are going to score touchdowns. I think both these teams played so well. The matchups as well too. I think I like, if someone asks like, who do you think is a better matchup? I think this is probably the 2 best matchups to ask for, from top to bottom, from offense to defense to quarterback to play calling. I want to say I would give Studs maybe the better advantage on some of the play calling from what I've seen, but other than that, I think these teams they're pretty much equal. So I think it's also one of the reasons why one's 10-9. 9-1, and the other one's 10-0. I think that's kind of the main reason why they're both there. But converts, I think converts is going to be a big factor, and I think I want to say going for 2 could be a big game changer if you could try to get an extra possession for both these teams. I think if I want to say this game is going to end 40 to like 44 or 46. And I think if a team is able to get an extra possession by getting 3 2-point converts, which equals 6, you pretty much get an extra touchdown. So I think it's going to be a battle of converts scored to see who's going to win this game.
All right. I'm excited about this game because it has two defenses that are in the top 4 in its division. The Studs, 185 points led in during the regular season, and then the Panthers 205, right? So the teams are not separated by a lot, right? Separated really by 20 points. Again, 2 of the top 4 defenses in this division, and the Studs, right, number 1 offense, right? They have 354 points scored during the regular season, right? So this team knows how to put some points on the board. I'll do the quick math here. 354 divided by 10, right? This team is averaging 35 points a game. So you kind of sneeze at that. Panthers, I mean, 267 points a game, right? So, I mean, they're a team as well, right? They know how to put points on the board. I look at this trio of receivers, though, for the Panthers. Talking about Nick Dupont-Labelle, Charles Joly, and Damian Angers. The three of them combined for 28 touchdown receptions, right? So that's a lot of TDs for that trio of receivers, and they've obviously been fantastic. I have seen the studs play multiple times. They've scored kept their games this season. And guys like Antoine Clement, baller. Jeremy Zadra, baller. Right? Jeremy Zadra have 46 touchdown passes and 4 TDs. Yet Jeremy Zadra needs to not be playing in Division 5C anymore after this, right? This guy can ball. I've seen him play a lot. I've come away pretty much every game watching him being impressed. He spreads the ball around. He has a lot of good targets, like I said. So Alex Blanchet, right? Guy had 558 yards. Antoine Clement, 16 touchdowns. Zach Blackburn, we talked a bit about him last week, 7 touchdowns. Sean Ross, 8 touchdowns. Needless to say, he spreads the ball around to his receivers. Everybody gets some work. I'm like you talked about, I'm excited about this game. Like I really think this could be the best game in championship weekend. Which way are you leaning? Pardon me. Which way are you leaning in this game?
I don't even know. If I had to pick, gun to my head, I'm taking the studs, and that's really just based on their performances all year long. They are number 4, as you said, they're top 4 defense, and they're one of the top 1 offense, right? They scored, number 1 offense, right, at 354, and then defense at 185. So other than takeout squad, Vice City, Pittsburgh, they pretty much have number 4, as you said, right, as number 4. Sorry, my nose. As number 4 defense. So I'm just gonna give it based off their stats and how they also performed in their playoff run.
Okay.
So far what they have done. Just looking at their playoff run again. Pittsburgh, LDL Jack Boys, to get away from LDL Jack Boys and then beating Pittsburgh as well too. Pittsburgh was a very good team. I realized I scored that game too. But yeah, they came out firing. They felt comfortable. They were kind of had the most of the way. So, and in that game, Pittsburgh started off with a pick 6, and they still won by 14 points. So, I'm gonna give it to studs. Right. When you start off that slow and still able to kind of come back and win by double-digit points, it means you guys. I think their character, their chemistry is all there. I think they're ready. You know, I don't like they're when that happens. Usually, it's to a point where you kind of could go one way. It's either you continue, the quarterback could continue. Jeremy Zandra could have kept throwing INTs. Instead, he kind of kept things going, and he did what he had to do to get to this championship game.
All right. Okay, so like you said, Studs beating Pittsburgh 38-24. Panthers knocking off Vice City 25-19 in their semifinal game last Saturday as well. I want to go with the Panthers. Like we talked about, obviously both teams top 4 defense, like you said, and yeah, you're right. Studs do have the best offense in this entire division. But the Panthers defensively, since they've started the postseason, right? I'm looking at it right here, man. And okay, so they didn't play in the wild card, obviously, and they didn't play in the divisional round. But they finally touched the field, right? I mean, the Panthers took on TDs and Big Ds, right? Held them to 12 points, right, in the quarterfinals. And in semifinals last week, again, holding a powerful Vice City team, to 19 points. Like I always say, defense wins championships. And I think right now, you talked about the studs, right? 24 points to put it back. That's fine. 24 points is fine. But they let in 49 or gave up 49 against LVO Jap Boys. LVO Jap Boys is a good offense, and studs got the win because they put up 51 to LVO Jap Boys 49. But again, that defense for the Panthers, since the postseason lights have come on, they've been a juggernaut. They've been mowing through teams, and I think they're not going to hold the studs to like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think they'll be able to come up with at least 1 or 2 stops to get the W. So yeah, I got the Panthers in this one.
Okay. Let's move on to 6A.
All right. Yeah, so
So
looking at 6A, so our championship game for this division should be a good one, actually. I'm looking forward to this one as well. It's going to be Only Flags taking on Booze Cruise. So I'm just trying to turn to my notes that I have on this game. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like I said, Only Flags taking on Booze Cruise in this contest. Looking at it in the regular season, I think these teams play. Let me just double check again. Yeah, these teams played in week 13 back on April 2nd, so about a month ago, just over a month. Booze Cruise getting the win 26-13. That game took place at Stady Bear. Like I said, back on Thursday, April 2nd. Nick Zahatros 4 TD catches in that game. He only had 4 receivers catching passes. It's Justin LaPlante, Luke and Alex Ganes, and Kyle Fulkerson. Each guy got a touchdown. The other side was Mederic Morin, 2 TD passes, but 2 INTs in that game. So obviously turnovers played a huge factor in that game. Luke Ganes got 2 sacks for Booze Cruise. What do you think Only Flags needs to do to get revenge and walk away with the championship?
I feel like they're gonna have to do a lot. Only Flags is a very young team. They're a bunch of players from Edouard Montpetit, the tackle team. They're a good group of guys. I think the issue they do have is that they have a lack of experience. They beat Maule because of their athleticism. I would like to say. I got the score keep that game ended 31-27. It was kind of going both ways. It was to a point who's going to make the first mistake, and unfortunately for Maule, they did. I think the big difference between Only Flags and Booze Cruise, I think Booze Cruise is a bit more of experience, right? They have guys that kind of been in this league for a while compared to Only Flags. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues for Only Flags. I think for them to kind of get over that hump and be able to kind of keep up and win this championship, they're going to have to score points, and they're going to have to make sure they don't have as many mistakes. And be composed. I've been kind of saying this pretty much all podcasts, where if you have a mistake, it's fine. Go into the next play. Medrins Morin, the quarterback for Only Flags, he's gonna have to use his legs as well too. He did a great job. Using his legs in the playoffs. He's gonna have to keep doing that. Use it when he has to, and also use some of his use his legs when he has to, and also just kind of if the play is not there, don't force anything, right? He's kind of the leader regarding his quarterback and also on the defensive side as well too. So he's going to be one of the key factors for them to win this championship. He's going to have to be composed as quarterback and also be a leader on the defensive side as well.
Okay. I mean, look at this matchup. I mean, again, I'm excited to see Booze Cruise. I mean, I think they've been the best team pretty much in this division. I score kept one of their playoff games. I think it was the first round of the playoffs. I score kept their game, against Sweet Bonanza down in San Laurent a couple of weeks ago. I think it was that last week, and they came out of impressive focus against top receiver for this team. I agree with you. Booze Cruise definitely has the experience factor. I think also again I like their roster. I think it's, again, at least so far in the postseason, right? Like, I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. It's pretty much Kyle Fulkerson getting the ball. He has 24 catches, and the next closest person is Luke Gaines with 4. Right. So that offensive balance, there is no offensive balance right on this offense. It's Kyle Fulkerson, and Kyle Fulkerson getting the ball. I think if you're Only Flags, you got to limit the damage he does, because he's a phenomenal player. He's really underrated, great dude too, and good athlete. You got to limit the damage that he does, and you have to force the quarterback Nick Zahatros to rely on other players to get the job done. We saw in the regular season they got it done, but so far in the postseason, it's pretty much one guy doing all the work. I want to go with Only Flags here. I think Only Flags could again limit the damage that Kyle Fulkerson does and make sure, well, force the quarterback to have to throw out the targets. At least that should be their plan. Defensively, I think on the other side of the ball here, only flags. Again, I've come away impressed. I've only seen him a couple of times, but again, Médéric Morin, like you said, he's going to have to use his legs in this game. He's going to have to kind of be that dual threat quarterback, and he's going to have to rely on his top receivers, right? So the Elliott Fashion is going to have to come up with some big plays, along with some other guys too. There's Nicholas Fashion Roy as well, right? It's more of a diverse offense. It's more of a spread the ball around offense, I think, with this crew, and I think they'll be able to do that and get the W.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you if they do that, but I feel like, again, like I was kind of saying, if that doesn't happen, I think it's gonna be a situation where it's gonna be bad to bad to bad to bad to bad, and then just gonna
yeah, very well could be,
or it
very
could
well
be
could be.
good to good to good. So it could go both ways, right? But I think I feel like Only Flags is not ready. Like they got to the championships. I just don't think they're ready for it.
Yeah, you could very well be. Listen, you could very well be right. I'm just thinking. I'm on the mindset that if you can't just rely on one guy to do everything the entire time, and again, the offense is so one sided. In the favor of folks. And now, listen, Only Flags has to go and stop him. Can he do that? That's obviously another story. We're gonna have to wait and see. But they've had some time to plan, right? So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, you're right though. Against Mad, you talked about why Only Flags won. They still got the win, and obviously Boost Cruz knocking off Tops and Tops 35-20. The money would say to go with Boost Cruz. I just think again you can't just rely on one person. I think Only Flags will limit the damage that Fulkerson is able to do and somehow pull out a victory. We'll have to wait and see, right? This game is taking place Saturday, at 10:15. So that's going to be one of the later games, and again, a slew of championship games that we have for you guys this coming weekend. That will be, that's actually the final game of the evening. So yeah, wrap things up on the first day of the finals here in Brassard. All right, let's wrap up the 6v6. We're going to Division 6B. This matchup has the number 5 seed, the 7-3 Ballers, taking on the number 2 seed, the 8-1-1 Skrillas. These two teams did not meet in the regular season, but this matchup is interesting, Quaysie, in the fact that the Skrillas have the number 3 offense, whereas the Ballers have the number 4 defense. So obviously two big ends, two big phases going at it, offense versus defense. How do you see this game shaking out?
Well, again, as I said, I'm super biased for this. The Ballers is a team that I coach pretty much, I want to say 80% of the guys. So if I had to pick a team, I'm going to go with the Ballers. But if I'm not biased and I'm kind of going how I kind of look at games, I want to say the Skrillas, it's a good matchup on both sides. Yep. I'm gonna go the Baller size, and then I'm gonna go to the Skrilla size. We were talking about last podcast how I was kind of saying that the guys are kind of the kids that I coach are kind of hype and they're kind of excited for it, and they're ready for a championship. I kind of said it last week where they played. They ended up playing versus. They played the Staples. They ended up winning that game by 1 point. It came down to converts, and they just got one extra convert. That's the reason they won that game. If we're looking back at the Skrillas, they did a shutout on Hope Patrol, only literally winning that game 19-0. So again, we're kind of I know how we're kind of saying the fact that you let a team score 0 points, it's impressive, right? Same thing when they played Maule. They only let them score 14. When you only let it score, when you go into quarterfinals, only letting a team score 14. Going to the semifinals, only letting score team 0. I mean, that brings a lot of hype to your defense. And we're kind of saying defense wins championships. So it's to a point where if they're able to kind of get a good rush on Justin, the quarterback for Ballers, they're going to need a good rush on him. If they're able to get a good rush on him, it's going to be difficult for the Ballers to do what they like to do. I feel and I feel like to a point where if you have a good rusher on Justin, he does panic a lot, where he does struggle. But when he's able to beat the rush, he could play the best game of his life. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors in this game. The Skriller rusher, I want to say, is looking at it. Sacks. So the Skriller rushers is Daniel Goldenberg, 14 sacks, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, 14 sacks is 14 sacks. He's averaging 1 sack a game. I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors in this game to stop that offense, right? I think if they're able to do that, they have a good chance of winning. And then also, they're also going to need their offense to roll as well too. But they've won games by only scoring 19 points, right? So it basically goes to show that they don't have to score that many points on offense. They just have to make sure their defense is ready to come play.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I mean, yeah, like I said, Goldenberg 14 sacks. Their defense as a whole, 22 sacks right in the regular season. Their defense has been balling, like you talked about in the postseason, right? 14 points over 2 games. That's like Baltimore Ravens level. Well, maybe not this past season, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, Justin Borgo, the quarterback you're talking about, right? If you can pressure him, he's a good quarterback. You can pressure him, right? He threw 10 INTs in the regular season. So he's a guy that they can sometimes kind of toss those 50-50 balls up there, right? Looking at his stats in the postseason so far, he's been good in the postseason though. 15 touchdown passes, only 3 INTs. So he's protecting the ball. He's completing 72% of his passes. So maybe he's kind of figured out like I said, how to protect the ball. Defense wins championships though, and again, like you said, 19-0 over Hope Patrol. They intercepted Charles Olivier Thievered 5 times, whereas the Ballers beat the Stables. That was my pick, the Stables, right, to win this championship. I've been saying it, I think, since like week 2 or 3, they beat them 32-31, right? So tight game there. I'm just wondering how the Ballers defense is going to stop the likes of Aiden Lasry, right? 13 touchdowns in the regular season. He's been on fire. And yeah, again, I'm interested to see how they kind of slow this team down. Again, 2 teams not separated by much at all in the standings, right? I'm gonna go in this game. I was going back and forth when I was doing my notes for this. I'm gonna go with the Skrillers. Again, that rush, I think, like you talked about, by Daniel Goldenberg, that could be the difference in that one. Again, Justin Borgo, to his credit, hasn't had too many turnovers in the playoffs, but he still has thrown 3 INTs. And as we know, right, a good rush sometimes will cause you to throw a pick or 2. And I think that'll be the case in this one. So I'm going with the Skrillers to get the W over the Ballers.
Okay. And you guys already know my pick. I'm going to go with my kids. I'm going to go with the Ballers.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. I said that wraps up everything part of me for 6-on-6. Again, good luck to all the teams competing for the 6-on-6 championship. Let's go to 5v5 now. Let's go to you want to do co-ed? Sorry?
Co-ed. You want to do intermediate or co-ed first?
Let's go intermediate.
Okay. So 5v5 intermediate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so 5v5 intermediate, our championship matchup is going to be Red Zone against the Flag Avengers. Red Zone got here by knocking off Flag Zone Line 21-18 last Monday in the semifinals, and then Flag Avengers seemingly beat Les Benchwarmers. So again, that's the finals matchup we have. Flag Avengers, sorry?
Yeah, I was about to say kind of like a brief thing. What happened? Flag Avengers basically didn't play any games in playoffs. They played the Benchwarmers where they forfeited, and then they played Team Quebec U18 where they also forfeited. So they got a clear path to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. Flag Avengers and Red Zone, they met once in the regular season. That was back in week 10. Flag Avengers winning that game by a score of 33-26. Marc-Andre Reeves of Red Zone threw 4 TD passes, 1 INT in the loss. Xavier Couture also 4 TD passes, 1 INT, but he got his team the W. Yeah, not much to report from that game. Is Agriculture had 53 rushing yards and a touchdown. Both teams struggling, on the extra points. Looking at it here, only two for Flag Avengers and only one for the red zone. So usually both teams a lot better than that. Red zone was 1 for 4 on 2 point conversions. They didn't attempt to one, so they again 1 for 4 on the 2 point attempts. And Flag Avengers were 2 for 5. They went 1 for 2 on the 1 point convo and 1 for 3 on a 2 point convo. Hence why you do the math, it's 2 for 5. Both teams also struggled on fourth down as well, right? So not exactly a banner game for both teams, but again, Flag Avengers getting the W. What do the Flag Avengers Quaysie need to do to get the sweep and get the championship?
Well, one, show up.
Yeah.
Fun fact:
Yeah.
I believe they do have a lot of kids on this team. I think U17, U18, 18-year-old, 6, 9, 7-year-old. I think they're at a tournament in Kingston. Same thing with Tam. Tam's going to be there. I'm pretty sure the Kutser family is going to be there as well too. So Michael Kutiote. I think they're a lot of their players are. I'm pretty sure they're either coaching or they're playing in Kingston. So one, show up on time for their game. I think that's going to be one of the big factors, and make sure they're kind of ready to go. Playing a lot of football during the weekend is a lot on your body, but if that works well, then kind of just, to be honest, I think it's going to be on Xavier Cote. I'm not sure if Tam's going to go quarterback or he's going to go quarterback, or if they're going to do like a dual quarterback type of situation here. But just kind of play their game. I think if they're able to play their game, the mindset of Tam's offense and kind of Xavier's athletic skills, I think that's going to be huge. Then you have Isaiah Allard, probably the biggest body in this team. And then you have the two brothers, Alexi Mamit and Charles Mamit as well, two great players. It's actually kind of interesting fact. One of these guys are one of them is tackle football player, and one is actually a flag player. And I think they're either 1 year apart or they're twins. So it's kind of interesting to see. One brother's mainly flag, and the other one is mainly tackle. So those are two big factors. They play better than they look. I got to play a tournament with them. But to be honest, for them to kind of win this game, they're gonna have to just keep doing what they're doing. 5v5 is so much different than 6v6. Plays matter. Every play matters. It's to a point where you can't afford for incomplete pass because you get yourself you're second and 25 to get into midfield, and then a 2-yard catch, you're third and 23, where defense can take advantage of that. Xavier or Tam, whoever's going to be throwing, they're just going to have to take their time and make sure they're exposing Red Zone's defense the best as they can, right? Red Zone's a team that they're new to 5v5, right? And 5v5 it's a different game where there is a lot of loopholes. When you level one side of the field in 5v5, it's 3-on-2. I don't care who you are, it's 3-on-2 most of the time. So if they could have a good play calling where they're able to just kind of expose that, as they did in the first matchup, I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. But it's to a point where if they don't expose those stuff like that, that's where things are going to get a bit difficult for them.
Okay. Yeah, one guy too I know on that team, Mikael Gay. He subbed for my team. I think it was last summer, the summer before. I had never seen him before, and I just came away like he was making play after play, ran great routes, had great hands. I score kept the game for Flag Avengers earlier in the year, Brassard, and I just came away with like, okay, I came away impressed again. Obviously, Xavier Couture was running circles around. I can't remember the team they were playing, but I just came away. I'm like, all right, they have Isaiah Allard, right? Tall guy, makes a lot of catches. Like you talked about the Maule brothers. Those guys are ballers, right? So this team, they have a lot of chemistry and guys who could play interchangeable parts, who could play different positions and do different things, which I think really makes them dangerous. Switching sides, obviously looking at their opponents and red zone. Okay, yeah, Marc-Andre Reed, right? He's won a ton of championships. Alexis Dubois, right? Leader of their defense, Victor Boutin. They have a lot of veterans on this squad, but it's going to be interesting to see which one of those guys. Maybe it's Marvin Renault, I think might be their tallest guy. Maybe he'll try to cover Isaiah Allard, or maybe Alexi. Alexi has some length on him. I don't know. Maybe Zebra as well. I don't know who's gonna cover Isaiah Lar, right? Because it's easier said than done. Because when it comes down to it, Xavier Couture is just gonna toss up balls and hope Alar comes
Yeah.
down with them, right? So
Well,
when their offense is in trouble, that's what they're gonna do.
yeah, that's exactly it. It's to a point where defense do collapse in 5v5, especially when there's double quarterbacks where you have one guy coming down. And to be honest with you, a lot of the point where it becomes one-on-one coverage, man to man. Man to man on Isaiah is not the easiest thing to do, especially when he has a height on you.
Yeah.
And when Xavier or Tam throwing those balls, they're not throwing at a level where a defender feels comfortable of trying to get the ball. The ball's high in the air, and that ball is going to Isaiah. It's going to his wingspan. So I think that's one of the difficult things for red zone. And also it's a fact how good this offense is going to play. They end up playing versus Flags Don't Lie. They scored 21 points. Mark went 25 for 36. So, I mean, they didn't do like, it's not the greatest game. He threw for 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. So I feel like Marvin Herno got a pick 6. So he didn't play the greatest game. He did enough to win this game, right? I think the rush is going to be a huge factor on who's going to be rushing, but they have so many rush players. I think if Isaiah's going to be rushing Mark, I think that's going to be an advantage. I honestly don't think Isaiah's fast enough for Mark, so I think that's going to be an advantage for them. But it's going to be based really on how they're going to contain Mark on his legs. His legs is everyone knows Mark's legs is one of the biggest factors. Where if you're not able to contain him, it becomes an issue. And I'm sure when they just played versus Flags Don't Lie, they won. He rushed 4 times for 45 yards. I'm pretty sure those rushes were big Q plays in this game where he brought his team to a championship. So I think that's going to be a big issue. And also, who's going to be rushing for red zone? Who's going to be rushing? Who's going to be rushing Xavier? Who's going to be rushing?
Yeah, exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Is Mark? Are you guys going to put your quarterback as a rusher because he's going to be exhausted? Don't get me wrong. Isaiah's Mark, Couture and Tam. They like to go. They go back and forth. They're not guys where they're going to stay in place. They'll make you run a bit, right? So you might want to think, right, where Mark Andre Reeves, he went 21 for basic. Maybe he was kind of tired for some of those throws that he didn't complete. It's not the rushing is not the easy thing to do. When you're rushing and then you're going as quarterback, it's a lot of energy. So
it's true.
But
it's gonna be interesting to see what they do here. Again, it's who's gonna rush. Will Flag Avengers have all their players ready to play in the championship game? We're gonna have to wait and see, right? But it should be a great game. Like if everyone's there and everyone's ready to go, it should be an interesting game. I definitely think like it could go down to the last couple minutes of the game to see who's gonna win. Again, this is the late game on Sunday. I believe this is the game that's going to wrap up everything. Yeah, it starts at 10:45, so it's the final game of our championship weekend. Red Zone and Flag Avengers. It's going to be interesting. Who do you think gets the W here?
I'm going to give it to Flag Avengers.
Okay. Yeah, same here. I like Red Zone. I've seen them play. Just again, I just don't think they'd be able to stop the Flag Avengers offense, especially if all the guys show up. I think it's really hard to kind of corral these guys. So I think Flag Avengers will get the W here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Let's go to competitive 5v5.
Yep. So 5v5, our matchup is pretty similar to Division 1, but this time 5v5 competitive. It's Party Crashers again, the number 1 seed, 9-1 record, taking on the Braves, the number 2 seed, also with a 9-1 record. So 2 heavyweights going at it in Division 1 and also here in 5v5 competitive. These 2 teams met in the regular season back in week 6. The Party Crashers, just like in Division 1, they got the win here in 5v5 as well. 33-18 win back on February 9th. That game was close at halftime. It was 13-12 for the Party Crashers. And then I don't know what happened to the Braves. They fell asleep. They got outscored 20-6 in the second half in that game. Now, Joe Meyer wasn't there for the Braves. It was Will Trache who was playing quarterback, 3 TDs, 3 INTs. So that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Jean-Z Alexi, 4 TDs, 1 INT in that game, but all 4 INTs went to all 4 receivers who caught a pass. Mendo Joseph, Fitzgerald Senatus, Rith Jean Giraud, and Mamadi Kaba. So all 4 of those guys getting into the end zone again. Jordan Alexi, Mendel Joseph, and Jean-Z Alexi getting INTs. Mendel running his back to the house. Jeremy Murphy on the other side getting the 1 INT for the Braves. But again, without John Mahia, this team struggled. They didn't get any conversions for the game, whereas the Party Crashers got 2 out of the conversion attempts that they tried. But again, second half really just kind of doomed the Braves, getting outscored by 14 points. How did the Braves get revenge this time around, assuming Joe Mahia is in the lineup?
It's interesting because again, we kind of talked about this in Division 1. Party Crash is the real deal. I don't know exactly what it is this year. I don't know, because usually they do struggle. I mean, we do have the big factor is honestly a quarterback. That's one thing for sure, but it doesn't change their defense, right? Like I guess John Sleet does come on the defense well too, but they had guys to replace John Sleet. I'm not saying he's not a great defender, but they had guys to kind of to do his role, you know? So for the Braves side, I think Braves, it's the point, they just have to play Braves football. Like, don't change anything up. There's a reason why they've won so many championships. They're just going to have to realize that they're going into here with a target on their back, right? And it's kind of point like I feel like Braves are like the Patriots. If they're a team where like you can like the Patriots or you hate the Patriots. It's you're one-sided. And I think that's the perfect example for the Braves. It's like either you hate them or you love them. And you hate them because they're so good and they always win championships and you want someone else to dethrone them, or you like them because they're the best team, they win all the championships, and you're like, oh, this is sick. So it's like it's either hate or love. Like there's no in between. Oh, like whatever. It's either you like them or you hate them. But
Yeah.
I think for them, they're just gonna have to play how they play, and they're just gonna have to realize that if they want to win this game, they're gonna have to be physical. They're gonna have to make plays, both sides of the ball, offense, defense. They're gonna have to maybe change some things around. They're gonna have to realize that they're not gonna be the most athletic team on this field. You know, they're gonna have to realize that they might get not bullied, but they might get pushed over to a point where Party Crashers they're not coming to this game lightly. They're going to be loud. They're going to be in your face. They're coming for a reason. They're not going to give anything easy. They're going to be aggressive. So they have to make sure when they're coming to this game, be ready for a war. Even if you don't think it's going to be a war, it's going to be a war. So they just have to make sure mentally they're coming in here and be ready to talk your smack. You know, that's one thing that Braves don't do as much. Braves like to talk after the game is done, you know, but they might have to talk during the game because they're gonna trust you. They're gonna hear talking. Party Crashers talk and say how you want to say it. Some teams are like, "Oh, why are you guys talking?" That's how they hype each other up. It could be a pick. It could be a tackle. It could be a breakup. It could be a moss. They talk the talk, and it's gonna be a point where Braves are gonna have to realize that they're at this point, you know, like yes, Party Crashers talk the talk last season, the season before, but we're in 2026. It's a whole new season.
True. I will say that Mike Pearson will talk during the game. He's known to talk quite a bit during the game too. He's not afraid to let his feelings be known. All right. Who are you calling? Who's getting the W in this game?
Again, I'm a bit biased, you know. I don't like teams winning championship after championship after championship after championships. Same thing as again, kind of when we get to the topic between co-ed 1 as well too. I'm kind of happy that for the merge and losing. So I'm gonna give it to the Party Crashers.
Okay.
I want to see a new championship. I want to see a new team. I want to see someone else at the throne. I'm tired of seeing the Braves winning every single year. So I'm gonna go with the Party Crashers.
All right. Okay, so you're calling Party Crashers in Division 1 and 5v5 competitive. All right. I'm going to say, I think the Braves. I think the Braves are going to find a way. I think in Division One they fall to the Party Crashers, but I think in 5v5 they find a way to get it done. I mean, they lost 33-18, and that's without Joe Maher, right? I mean, almost on the verge of a blowout, but not quite there yet. So, I mean, yeah, I think Joe Maher will make the difference. I think the Braves will find a way to sneak it out against the Party Crashers.
Okay, it's gonna be a great game. Either
Oh,
or.
100%. This could be one of the best games of the entire championship weekend.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm really looking forward to this contest. I know, again, I think that one wraps up championship. It wraps up. Yeah, it wraps. No, pardon me. Sorry, 7:30. My bad. 7:30 on Sunday. So that'd be a good game for sure. I believe that you and Dan are calling that one. I believe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All right. Okay. Let's go to 5v5 co-ed.
Okay.
So division you're quite familiar with. So this matchup we have is Quaysie's team, the Airbuds. So the number 4 seed finished the regular season 6-4, taking on the number 7 seed. Nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. They finished 2-8 in the regular season, but like I said, all you got to do is get into the dance, and this team has done that and then some. Right? Looking at how both teams got to this finals matchup. Nice to meet you, knocking off Flagmont the Quad 32-26. And the semifinals this past Monday at Stade de Soccer, and Quaysie's team Airbuds knocking off ATs and Dummies 31-13. Quaysie, you were the main man in that game. You had 3 touchdown receptions in that game, so obviously you came to play and your team wasn't joking around. Besides you getting the 3 touchdowns, what was the biggest key to you guys knocking off Sarah Parker and ATs and Dummies?
Our defense. Our defense played extremely well. Halftime was 19-0, and it was pretty much the game was over. It was 19-0 when we got ball second half. So we scored, I'm pretty sure, the last play of the game, so that was a big factor. We got stops. We had to get stops, and we just played well. I had a pretty good game plan going into this against Sarah Parker, where I kind of wanted to guess if she wanted to throw deep or throw short, where I kind of was showing I was deep. I was really short. So anytime she short, I was kind of there getting easy flags. And I think it kind of made her second guess and kind of got her off her rhythm. So that was a big advantage. And we kind of just kept going that way. And then Jeff threw 10 completed passes. 5 of them were touchdowns. So, I mean, when you're throwing out of your 10 passes, 5 of them are touchdowns. I mean, it's pretty good at that point. No INTs as well too. And then when we needed a big play, Anthony Brisebois pretty much did it for us. And then if everyone was on sync, they kind of had a play where Emerson was a double quarterback. We made good adjustments. Like we were locked in, ready to play. We didn't really prep anything, but just everyone was on the same page. And it's kind of like when we played TAM as well in the quarterfinals. Everyone understood the assignment and everyone did it. They didn't do too much. They didn't do too little. And we had things rolling from the first snap to the last snap.
Okay. So looking at the matchup again with you guys, and nice to meet you. You guys played them in the regular season. You guys getting the win 32-27. That was back in week 7. So a big victory for you guys. Yeah, back on February 16th. Do you remember any keys? Any big reasons why you guys got that W?
I think we just contained Benny. We made sure Benny didn't really explode on us. We kind of let him. We wanted to throw the ball. He threw the ball for a good amount of yards, but we just kind of made sure, like, if we're gonna lose this game, it's not gonna be against Benny's legs. It's gonna have to be against his arm. So we basically had the factor of, if we're losing, it's gonna be from Benny's arm, not his legs, and we did a good job to contain him. I don't think he ran that often. I think he ran maybe like 4 or 5 times. But he didn't run.
3 carries, 15 yards.
Yeah, he didn't run for that many yards, And again, 5v5, you can't run it right away. You need a direct snap and then throw it back to the quarterback. But we just made sure we contained him, and we kind of played a spy. So again, Benny and his legs is a big factor. He's doing a great job with his arm, but if you could kind of keep his legs out of the factor, it's a big way to kind of take advantage of certain situations in this game.
Okay. Last time I know Jeff Rosenblatt, yeah, he had five TD passes, but 2 INTs, right? Bakari Barrett ran one of those picks back to the house. How important is it? How important will it be for your offense to make sure that Jeff doesn't have any turnovers this time around?
Yes, that's exactly it. If Jeff's on his game, we're totally fine. But right now, as I was saying, Jeff's playing amazing football, right? He threw 2 INTs. One was a pick six, and we still won this game 32-27. So it just goes to show, if you take away those 2 INTs, one not being a pick six, we win this game by double digits. So it's going to be a big factor for Jeff to kind of have a good game and make sure he doesn't throw any INTs.
All right. Looking at the females, right, on this roster, right? So at least your opponents, right? Alyssa Goulet, right, one of the top players in the female division. Louise Lefebvre is eligible to play as well, right, in the playoffs. Lara Zuko, so she's not eligible to play, but she did play against you guys. She had a touchdown. Abigail Perot, right? So they have some ladies on this team. Speaking, of course, of nice to meet you, who can ball. Looking at the other side with you guys, right, in your squad, right? I mean, you have some top-notch ladies on your team as well. And of course, I'm talking about, so we start obviously Emma Townsend, Aslan, my apologies. So she's obviously one of the top players on your team. There's Constance Millar, right, as well, that's on your team as well. She can ball. Anyone that's seen her knows she can ball. Rachel Shea. I've scored, kept a couple of her games the last couple of years, and I always find she's really underrated. You don't hear her talked about that much in terms of some of the top female players, but I've watched her play and she could ball. I'm telling everyone right now, she's legit. Obviously, you could tell better than me. Just talk about the female matchup. I assume you're gonna say you guys have the advantage there, but what exactly does that trio of Emma, Constance, and Rachel really bring to your squad?
Well, the one big factor is the veterans. So I want to say Constance and Rachel has been playing flag for years now. We're a veteran team, right? We're probably one of the oldest team. I think me, Constance, Anthony, and Rachel are around the same age, around the 30 mark, and then Emma is the kind of like the baby within. I think she's like 24 now. But just to kind of have those players, and again, Emma is a great listener. She wants to get better. Just to kind of have those three those three women around our defense, they understand certain things and they're able to adapt on the go. So I think that's a big factor to us. Or they kind of understand what to do. So I think this year, especially this season, we didn't really have to kind of make any huge adjustments where they didn't understand what their assignments were. I think the fact that they've been playing for so long, they just understand what to do. And especially that it's 5v5 compared to 66, the field is so much smaller where if you understand your cues and where to go, it makes it so much easier to understand. It makes it so much easier on the defensive side to kind of get everyone on the same page. Same thing with offense. Same thing goes with offense. Rachel's our snapper, and she does what she has to do. She makes the catches when she makes catches. Same thing with Emma and Constance when either one of them is offense, one they're defense, but they make plays, you know. So that's a big factor that we had for this season.
Okay, nice. Okay, I'm not going to ask you who you think's going to win the game. I mean, it's a pretty stupid question. Nice to meet you for sure. All right,
I would say that as nice to meet you. We kind of talked about it with Rory. They're probably by far one of probably the scariest rosters, just because from top to bottom, they're not the greatest offense and not the greatest defense. They're in between, and it balances well for their team. Right? They don't have I don't want to say that their girls are not the greatest girls, but they could ball. They could ball. All the girls they're capable. Roy also gave a shout out to them. They understand what to do, and they also all play flag as well too. Like that's why co-ed 5v5 is probably one of the best divisions right now, just because there's so much talent in it. But they're not the greatest, not the worst. They're in between, and it's a perfect mix in between with all their players within it. So. Again, they did a great job for us because we didn't want to play versus Spicy Braves or we didn't want to play versus Flag Moi, and they knocked off both those teams for us, right? So shout out to them to kind of getting where they are right now. They had to upset the number 1 seed and number 2 seed, which they did. So it just kind of goes to show how good of a team that they are. But again, like if I had to choose, you are right. I am going with Lightning.
All right, and you're right. Yeah, you brought up a good point, right? Obviously, nice to meet you. Like I said, finishing the regular season with 2-8 record, right? And not a sparkling regular season, but again, they got into the dance and they've been knocking off heavyweight after heavyweight after heavyweight. So now again, with you guys being the 4th seed, right? That's another heavyweight in their path. I mean, I think this game could go down to the wire. The last meeting pretty much did, right? Only decided by 5 points. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick you guys. I think you have the edge wise and talent, at least definitely from the female perspective. I think for sure. I think that I want to say, like, nice to meet you. Ben has a good squad. Like Ben Rory had put together a really good team. I remember talking to Ben before the season started. He hadn't really played with any of these players, including Rory, before. He told me it was kind of this, I'm going to put this team together and see what happens versus you guys, right? With Jeff and Anthony, you guys have played together for a lot. Emma as well, right? And obviously, I know you know Constance. I believe you played with Constance as well before too, right? So I mean, you guys know kind of what's happening. But again, Rory, Alyssa, Bakari, at least there are some playmakers on this team. Ethan Adrian as well, right? Don't forget him. He's definitely a huge playmaker on the squad. I'm going to give you guys the edge. I think you guys win 32-31. Will we get some overtime? Yeah, I think so. I think we might see some OT in this game.
Okay. No, I think it's going to be a good game again. Their defense is definitely something to kind of look at. You have the back end with Bakari, you have Ethan, you have Greg, you have Abby, and then so on with Eloise, Alice. You have great defenders as well too. So I think it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be good matchups between again back end to see who's gonna be covering who, because our X factor is definitely Breezewell. I mean, someone hard to tell him, but you have a great DB like Bakari as well too. So it's going to be to be honest, I think that's going to be one of the biggest things. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things if Bakari is going to be able to keep up with Breezewell, and how can we slow down Rory, because he's definitely one of the lead targets for Ben.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see again. I think this is gonna be a really tight affair. Like I said, I believe it's coming down to the wire. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. But again, I think it's two excellent teams going at it. I'm excited to see. Again, this is the first season, right, of co-ed 5v5, so I'm really excited to see how this one shakes out. Let's go to co-ed 3.
Okay.
So this matchup between two top teams, right? We have the number 1 seed Pick Artists. They finished the regular season 9-1, taking on the number 3 seed, the Dream Killers, who also finished the regular season 9-1, right? So two 9-1 teams going at it here to decide the co-ed 3 championship. Looking at the regular season, these two teams did not play each other. Yeah, they did not play each other in the regular season here. So we talked about it a bit last week, right? Jacob Peltier, the quarterback for Pick Artists, he's put together a really, really solid season, right? Looking at him here, 41 touchdown passes, only 5 INTs, completing nearly 72% of his passes. That's some big time numbers for a quarterback who's only in really his second season here in FPF. So really big time numbers by him. Of course, on the other side, we have the veteran, right? For the Dream Killers, Noemi, Fortin, Hugh2Bs. Again, one of the top players, top quarterbacks in all of FPF, right? Whether you're female or male. Again, she put together a solid regular season as well for her, right? With 47 touchdown passes and only 7 INTs, completing nearly 67% of her touchdown passes. So obviously both quarterbacks know how to deliver the ball to their receivers. Looking quickly at how both teams got here, looking at the playoff schedule here. So for the Dream Killers, they knocked off Shaquille Oatmeal 31-24, and Pick Artists beat Shadow Squad 36-18. So again, setting up this matchup. This game will take place Saturday at 2:45. Again in Brassard, the home of championship weekend. Quaysie, how do you see this game shaking up between Pick Artists and the Dream Killers?
I really think it's going to be on Naomi, how she runs her offense, and I think that one of the biggest factors is that she has to try to make sure that she doesn't give any opportunity for Hubert Noel as well as Hendricks. Hubert Noel and Hendricks' last name is Hendricks Gugard. But anyways, those two players, she has to make sure that she avoids them. Hubert 59 Ts, 4 pick sixes this season, and then Hendricks. He was hurt for a good amount of the season. He only had 5, but if he played those full amount of games, he definitely would probably finish with 10 or 11. Definitely a ball hawk. One of also a player that I did coach back in Greenfield Park. So those two guys are ball hawks. So I think she kind of has to avoid. It's kind of hard to say to avoid both those players, but some of those balls. If Naomi, to be honest, I have to say she has a good ball and she understands certain concepts, but Pickard just comes at you fast. They're a very fast team, and they have really 2 good defenders in that situation. Like, I don't want to say like they're the team, but they could definitely take over a game. So I think it's gonna be really based on how Naomi performs. If she's able to kind of slice and dice this defense, she's gonna have a great time. But if she has one of those games where she does have for women sometimes where she throws some bad balls and becomes an INT here and there, this game could get out of hand and they could lose by 20. So I really think she's going to have to really focus on who she's throwing the ball to, and she's going to have eyes on both of those defenders and make sure if she does throw one of those deep balls or those passes in between the middle, they're not there to jump them, because they're good. Their pick artist does win the side of being more athletic, and it's to a point where they get to places fast. And that's one thing I realized with co-ed and women. That's one thing I realized, the difference between when you have a woman quarterback and a male quarterback playing co-ed. When you throw a certain ball, it takes time for a defender in the women's league to kind of get over there compared to in the men's league where they get there way faster. So that's kind of an adjustment that Naomi had to make. She's done a great job. As you can see that she only threw 7 INTs. She's going to have to continue doing that and realizing she's going to have to step it up a notch and make sure those certain balls that she throws has to make sure it gets there fast and it doesn't carry in there.
Right. Yeah. No, that's fair. I've seen a lot of her games, and she's an accurate quarterback, but it's true. Some of her deep balls, they do float in the air sometimes just a little bit. So she's going to have to try to cut that up, because those balls are hanging in the air for an extra second. Like you said, those could definitely be picked off. I'm just going to, I think honestly though, I'm going to go with the pick artist here. That their name is appropriate, right? I mean, they pick off the ball. Hubert Noel. You talked about Grosjean as well, but Hendricks Grosjean. He's a ball hawk as well. I just think you can't avoid, like kind of what you were saying before. You can't really avoid throwing to 2 players all the time, right? Especially if those players are going to go deep, then they'll just force you to throw short and dink and dunk your whole way up the field. That kills time off the clock. And I just don't. I don't think how Naomi Forte here to be is going to be able to avoid those 2 defenders the entire game, and I think that's going to come back to bite them when they need a deep play. So yeah, I'm picking the pick artist in this game.
Okay, so we have the same pick.
Okay, let's go to co-ed 2. So we talked about this a little bit last week, right? Top 2 teams going at it. The number 1 seed, 9-1 Venom, taking on the number 2 seed in Les Woos. Les Woos finished the regular season 8-2. So again, 2 teams going at it here for this co-ed 2 championship. Looking at it here, they met back in week 8. 26-19 win for Les Woos in that first matchup. So obviously Venom looking for some revenge here. Obviously, right, a lot of the notoriety of the attention goes to Paul Lapierre, of course, the Hall of Famer quarterback for Venom, and of course Gucci Amambo, the quarterback and the captain of the team for Les Woos. Who else besides those 2 players, or who else should we be looking at in this game who can make an impact?
I think on both sides, the girls are going to be a pretty big factor regarding both these sides. Again, if you're looking at the side of Venom, you have Heidi, you have Charlene from
Yeah, Charlotte, yeah, fix
yeah,
tomorrow.
and then you have Noella as well. These are all, I believe, these are all girls that play for Vanier Cheetahs because Paul's the coach there. But I think most of these girls play, and then I think also the guys are Vanier Cheetah players as well too, but for tackle. But I think to be honest, I think it's going to be how well the female play on both of these teams. I think they're both kind of equal sided on both sides. So it's going to be like who's able to make a bigger play, who's able to make that extra tackle, maybe that extra pick going on both sides. If we're looking at the Lewu, again, you have just gonna look at the roster here. You have a girl, Marika Bouchard. She's a great player. She also plays for UCAM. I think she's going to have a big impact in the game. You have Victoria Bouchard as well, a player for she plays on women's what's the team for women's three? She Sparks.
Yeah,
exactly. So she's a big factor there. You have Stellar Jean, Austin player for University of Montreal. So again, to be honest with you, they technically, I'm going to go back to what I said. I think it's going to be a big factor for the women's, and I think the advantage does go for the Woo, but it's not a huge, it's not a big gap. But I think it's going to be really on how well how well each side of both women's play. I think that's going to be the factor of this game.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen both these teams play. I didn't see their matchup early in the season, but I have seen I've scored kept these teams before. I'll give the slight edge to Les Woos here in terms of athleticism. I think they have a bit more speed and even length, I would say, than some of the players. Not Paul Lapierre, obviously, he's the tallest guy ever. But like other than that, I think they have a bit more athletic edge. Pardon me, speaking of Les Woos. Sam Safaris, I remember watching him play, and I came way impressed. I had never seen him before play, but I came way impressed. 10 TDs in the regular season. Ishak Cassie Azu, 13 touchdowns in the regular season, right? That's pretty impressive. Those are the two main players putting in the work. Obviously, with Gucci at quarterback, Gucci had a pretty solid season, throwing the rock, 35 touchdown passes and only 5 INTs, and that's only in 8 games played, right? Mm-hmm. So he obviously knows what to do with the ball in his hands. Obviously, he brings a rushing component as well. I do like this veteran squad for Venom. Obviously, Donald Shepard, another FPF Hall of Famer. He's a snapper. Hania kind of Lynch. She's good people, and I like the fact that she's like a focal point of this offense. I find with Chaos, she doesn't really get in that much play, at least offensively. Here, she's proving what she can do, right? 10 TD passes in the regular season. Like you talked about Charlene Vixamar before as well, 8 touchdown passes. Lamine Baz, 5 touchdown passes. Daniel Lamboto. And they have depth on this team. I think this team is deeper. I gave the advantage athletically to Les Woos, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, I can say that Venom is a deeper team. I think when you're a deeper team, you're harder to go up against, right? You have to stop that many more people. And that's why I think speaking of Venom, I think Venom's going to get the W in this game.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And I think also it's a good matchup between the two. Like if we look at the semifinals, they would play Block Party. They won that game by 18, right? 30-12. And a lot of people are how does the Woo beat Block Party by 18? It's a point where if you're looking at both rosters, they Woo had the perfect matchup for Black Party. From up to down, they had the perfect matchup between these two teams just because both these teams are speed, right? And it's to the point where you have to make sure when you're playing Block Party, you have to make sure you make sure Ivan doesn't run the ball. He didn't feel comfortable running as much. And it's to a point where when he needed one of his girls to make plays, they couldn't. So I think in that case, it's a great matchup. I kind of went back here kind of saying like that's a great matchup for the Lulu, but Paul is not looking to run. Paul is looking to dice your defense. He's looking to level you guys out. He's looking to to get the open gaps, open spaces. So I think when it comes to kind of, you could be the most athletic team, but when you're not understanding certain zones or getting to certain zones, where Paul, again, he's been in this league for the past over 15 years. I want to say he's been playing for a while. I think for him, sometimes when a team is as athletic as the Wu, Paul's fine with that, because he's gonna put certain defenders in certain spots where if you want to do too much, you're gonna open a gap for me, and I'm gonna take that gap. And my players, my women's and guys, whatever around those lines, they have enough athleticism to actually score big touchdowns or catch certain balls and run down the field and get a bunch of yak yards. So I think Paul's definitely going into this game where realizing, okay, maybe they're more athletic than us, but I'm gonna move certain people where I want to move them. It's kind of saying like that's one of the veteran things that a lot of quarterbacks do. They put you where they want you to be put, and then they throw it to the other side. So I think that's one of the big advantage. So again, I'm also going to go with the Venom to win Co-Ed 2 championship.
All right, nice. Okay. All right, let's go to Co-Ed 1. Let's wrap up the Co-Ed stuff. So we got the number 4 seed, 4 and 6, the IG team, so veteran squad, taking on the number 2 seed, 8 and 2, Lego My Flag. Both teams met twice in the regular season. Lego My Flag winning both matchups. They won in week 9 by a score of 34-30. And then 2 weeks later in week 11, they won by a score of 28-25. So both those wins coming by a combined 1 touchdown with 7 points. Again, Lego My Flag winning the regular season series, sweeping it 2-0. Quaysie, how does Lego My Flag complete but it's seemingly really hard to do at times, beating a team 3 times in one season?
Jeff. All on Jeff. To be honest with you, all on Jeff. It's gonna be, this game is all on Jeff. Depends how Jeff plays. If Jeff wants to be the Jeff that he's being right now, they win this game. Maybe it's gonna be close, maybe it's gonna be far, but if Jeff is on his A game, they win this game. It's on me, Jeff. It's not gonna be on their defense. Not going to be on there's not going to be on James Drysdale, Maya. It's going to be on Jeff. It's how Jeff plays this game. IG team, don't get me wrong, they've been playing great. They beat the Merge. They smoked Fit Squad, only allowed them to have 7 points. But right now, Lego My Flag, they're on 1. They end up beating the heavy favorites, the Silly Geese, which I personally felt like they're the heavy favorites. They won that game 34-32. You knock off Kevin Wyeth, Emerson, Gab, Rochelle, Gigi, Emma. You beat a team where I figured we should have just gave them a championship, you know? And don't get me wrong, Lego My Flag has ballers as well too. You have James Drysdale, you have Sanders Ahmed, you have Maria, you have Maya, you have Lara. Like, he has great players as well too, but they only could play as good if Jeff lets them play as good. Like they only can play as good if Jeff puts them in certain spots. Right. And it's to the point where, like, Kevin Wyatt, like, he's going to put you in a certain spot. They played that game. Jeff went 27 for 31, 222 yards, 5 TDs. It feels like Silly Geese didn't know what to do, and it came down to converts at the end of the day, where Lego My Flag had 1 extra convert, you know, and that 1 extra convert won the game 34-32. So I think that's going to be a big factor. I also think Lego My Flag's defense is also very good as well. You have Sarah Baybush, one of the key defenders in that situation. She's a great defender. I got to play with her last season, and I got to play with her last season. She's a dog, you know, so that also is a big aspect toward Lego My Flag, including Sanders, James, that back end, Paul also as well too, if he goes as a rusher. Like, they have a great team. I just think Silly Geese were a better team, and the fact that they're able to beat them in that game, plus the fact that Jeff played the game that he played. I think right now, the way how things are going, if Jeff plays good, I don't think IG team's going to have an answer to – I don't think IG team has an answer to – well, sorry. I personally feel like it doesn't matter what IG team does. If Jeff's on his game, he's going to win this game. If Jeff's on his game, he's going to win this game. Yeah, exactly what I said.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay, so do you think he's going to be on his game?
Well, this game is. Let's see when we play this game. This game is looking at playoff schedule. I think they just changed around some of the games. So this game is played at 5 p.m. on Sunday, and I want to say that's the first game that Jeff's gonna play, unless Division 2 is before. Because it depends. It's kind of hard when you play a game and then you take a long break off and then you play again, right?
Yeah, of course,
So,
yeah.
I'm kind of just looking to see when his Heart 8, when they play Division 2, is playing at Saturday. So I think he'll be well rested. He plays on Saturday. I think he'll have enough time to rest for Sunday. I think he's definitely going to be on his game. But like, no disrespect to IG team, they had a horrible regular season. They finished 4-6. End up winning 3 of the last 4 games. End up beating Fit Squad. Played a huge game versus the Merge. Jordan Alexi did a great job on Mark as rushing. He only had 1 sack, but I'm pretty sure he contained him to a certain point. So I think he's one of the main reasons that they won that game. But again, Jeff, it doesn't matter who ref. He's not running anyways, right? So I just think the way
you don't want that.
I just think right now the level that Lego My Flag is playing at is amazing. The fact that they beat Silly Geese as well too, and the fact that Jeff's right now is on a roll, I feel like that's very hard to beat. No matter what you do, when a quarterback's when a quarterback's hot, it's hard to kind of hard to just get him off his game.
Cool him off, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Okay, so who do you have winning this game? I imagine then.
Yeah, I have Lego My Flag winning this game.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I've seen the IG team win a couple of championships. Yeah, but you are right. Jeff's playing some of the best ball of his career right now. Yeah, I think the trend's going to continue. I give them the slight edge to Lego My Flag. Yeah, I think Lego My Flag gets the W here.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my dog just ran in.
Anyways, I think Lego My Flag gets the W as well in this game.
Okay, so we're on the same page. Let's go to Women's 3.
Women's 3. Yep. So the Women's 3 matchup, we have the top 2 teams. We have the number 1 seed Lehibu, finished the regular season 8-1-1, taking on the number 2 seed, and She Sparks, who finished 8-2. These 2 teams split the regular season series. She Sparks winning the first meeting in week 4 by a score of 26-19. In that game, Gabriela Brega had 3 TD passes. Tabitha Thomas, she stepped up big time. She had 2 TD catches in that game. Victoria Bouchard had some big plays for her squad as well. Deanne Roy Biro, the quarterback for Lehibu, had 3 TD passes. I believe an INT as well. But again, She Sparks getting the W. Rashani Mitch, who was on guest on the podcast before, she had an INT in that game. Rematch though, 19-8 win for Lehibu, so they got revenge in week 8. And that game, Dorian Hua Biro, no INTs this time. She did have 3 TD passes. All 3 of them went to Lorianne Plouffe, so big outing for her. Tabitha Thomas had 6 catches for 106 yards, but no touchdowns this time around. So obviously, this is going to be the rubber match between what is clearly the top 2 teams in Women's 3. How do you see this game shaking out?
I'm gonna kind of base it off how Lehibu contained Victoria Bouchard. She had an insane season. Looking at her kind of stats, she went 835 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns. And don't get me wrong, Tabitha as well too, 804 yards.
Yeah.
So to be honest, how they're gonna stop both of these girls, I want to say, I think those are going to be 2 of the big factors. If Lehibu's able to contain them to a certain point, I mean, I don't think they're going to I think they're both going to score a touchdown, but how many touchdowns are you going to be able to contain them, or how many extra yards are you going to give? I think if they're able to kind of take away some of those catches towards them, some of those easy targets toward both of those women, I think they're going to be in a better shape. I do think this is going to be a low-scoring game, though. I think we're going to have it's going to be like 13-14 around those lines. Halftime 7-6, and it's going to be who has more converts. Yeah, I think both quarterbacks are going to struggle. I think both of these teams. I think these are like, to be honest with you, I think there's a reason why both of these defenses are as good as they were. The Hubu only allowed 128 points. She Sparks allowed 108. So I think this is going to be a very a very defensive sided game. Sorry, I think this is going to be a really defensive sided game where it's going to converts are going to be a huge factor, and it's going to be what defense screws up first, allowing a big touchdown. I think a big touchdown it's gonna definitely happen this game, and I think the team that allows it's gonna be the team that ends up breaking and ends up losing this game. And by big touchdown, it could be a 5-yard catch that leads to a 35-yard run after, or it could just be a blown coverage where one of the players end up getting a huge blown coverage and scores a touchdown.
Okay, all right. All right, so who are you picking to win the game?
I'm gonna go She Sparks.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm gonna go She Sparks.
Okay, I think their defense again they improved first time around. I mean, they held them to 19 points both times. I mean, obviously the last time She Sparks only scored 8 points. I think they're a deeper team. I think they have just a bit more experience, not a lot, but a bit more experience, I think, than their opponents in this game. Of course,
one thing to also say, sorry, Brent, before you make it, one thing to say, Bouchard wasn't their second matchup.
Right. You're right. Okay.
Or was she there? Was she there? They said. She doesn't have stats, so it's very weird. But she has no catches, no nothing. I would assume it's impossible. She doesn't have zero. She doesn't have there's not even a target for her. So I think that's the game that she did end up missing.
I'll tell you right now. I'm on that page. Bouchard. Yeah, Victoria Bouchard played.
It says she played, but I don't think she has no stats at all. No tackles. No. It's very maybe the scorekeeper kind of just clicked it, but I'll be very, very surprised if she played that game. She didn't get one target or one tackle. Like, to have 0 stats, and it's kind of insane if you ask me.
You know, I'm gonna reach out to Shani right now and find out what happened. Hopefully before we're done this episode, I'll text her right now and find out. Yeah, hopefully before we're done this episode, we'll find out.
I'll be anyways. But okay. But who do you have?
I'm really torn on this one. I've seen both teams play. I think, to be honest, I think the Hubu are the better team. I mean, hence the record. But I like She Sparks. I think they're really scrappy. One of the teams I do cheer for. I'm gonna say a tight one as well, same as you. I'm gonna say 18-16 final in favor of the Hubu.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for the Hubu in this one.
Let's jump to women's 2.
All right. So this matchup, again, we have the number 1 seed, team we all expected to be here, Chaos. So congrats to those ladies on getting the job done. They're taking on the number 6 seed. Bit of a surprise. We talked about it briefly last week. 7-3 was the Cavs, BDEB. So these two teams met just over a month ago, back on April 6th, right? Chaos getting a blowout win, 34-12 in that matchup between these two teams. Obviously, again, doing battle for the finals here. Looking at the quick stats in that game, Allison Sobo leading the way with 5 touchdown passes of 250 pardon me, 250 yards. So great job by her. Only one INT. Emma Townsend Aslan caught 2 of those TD passes. Gigi caught 1. Marilyn Cesar caught 1. Heidi O'Connor Lynch, we talked about earlier, she caught 1 as well. Dahlia Charbonneau on the other side, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Leticia Faubert caught a touchdown, and this Bushmello, one of our scorekeepers, she caught a touchdown as well. So shout out to her. In this game, this came down to it was 13-12 at the half for Chaos, and then the Cavs just disappeared. They got smacked around. They got shut out 21-0 in the second half, hence the 34-12 victory. Besides scoring some more points and showing up in the second half, Quaysie, what do the Cavaliers need to do to get the W here?
Well, kind of exactly what you said, score. I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues. It's going to be one of the biggest problems. Chaos is a great team where they're good at adjustments. Even though, they're great. They're great at adjustments, especially their defense, right? As you kind of said, they allowed 12, and then the second half they allowed 0. So it's to a point where if everyone's on the same page, and it makes a big difference. I think a lot of times when you have defensive adjustments, it makes a big deal. Regarding Cavs, I think they're just going to have to score more touchdowns. Their quarterback Daniela is going to have to throw the ball. She's going to have to try to throw the ball over the top. Those dimp and dunk passes might not work as much. Where Chaos is going to be they're going to come down for a lot of those things, and they don't miss a lot of tackles. That's one thing I have to say about this defense.
Yeah, very true.
Do not miss a lot of tackles. There's not a point where you're going to have a player that's going to break out for 35, 40 yards on a missed tackle. They kind of rally to the ball. After the ball is caught, they're coming down, they're making a tackle, they're huddling, they're talking, they're getting organized. So for the Cavs, one thing they're going to have to do is go over the top when you have the chance and try to I don't want to say expose this Chaos defense, but try to go at them where you try to pick on someone. No, sorry. I don't want to say, okay, I'm going to rephrase what I'm saying. They're going to have to just go at them, right? So don't be scared to only throw the short passes, go over top. You're going to have to test Emma. You're going to have to test Gigi. You're going to have to test Naomi when she's coming out to rush. Marilyn, like any of these girls are playing defense, any of these girls are playing offense, you're going to have to go at them. Same thing when it comes to defense. You're going to have to slow down Allison. You're going to have to want to pick her off 2 or 3 times. You're going to have to change your defense. You're going to have to shoot things at her that she doesn't see. It's to a point. I don't want to expose certain play calling on certain teams, but there's a certain play call that Chaos do like to do. You're going to have to key on that and just kind of make sure you don't get burnt because of how Allison puts certain balls at certain places, and just play your game, like to a point where feel comfortable doing things, but play your game, but also try to mix it up where you feel comfortable doing it. Right, that makes no sense. Play your game.
So what you're saying is like you got to trick Allison into throwing INTs. You got to, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. You got to basically post snap. You have to change what you're doing, and you have to confuse her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But don't. Yeah, that's exactly it. But don't get to a point where you blow coverage because of it. If you're gonna shoot outside middle and then you're shooting a girl across the field, make sure there's no one. Make sure everyone's doing their assignment and the post is not wide open where Allison gets a free touchdown. And the reason why you're like, okay, well, we're trying something new and it didn't work. Play your game, but also mix it up where you're gonna make it difficult for this chaos team to score, right? Because again, we kind of said all year, when Allison is on, she's on, and when that defense is on, they're on. It's to a point where if the defense is fired, usually the offense is fired, and the offense is fired, usually the defense is fired. You gotta cool one down, make sure if you're gonna get beat on offense, don't get beat on defense. If you're gonna get beat on defense, don't get beat on offense. Like try to make it one-sided.
No, 100%. I mean, listen, I've called a ton of games for Chaos. This is what the Cavs need to do. They have to keep the game close. They have to keep it close and they have to, especially around the goal line, you have to switch up your coverages, and you have to basically trick Allison into throwing some of those risky 50-50 balls or things that she'll think is open, and then you leave it open and you jump it and I hope you get the picks. I mean, if not, she will slice and dice you if you guys sit in the same coverage all game long. So I mean, obviously, the experience factor goes to chaos, right? And I'll even say this: it's not a stretch, right? The skill factor goes to chaos. These ladies are a talented team; they've been together for a long time. Like we said at the beginning of the season, it's not a surprise that they're here playing for the finals because we expected them to be playing for the finals. And so, congrats to these ladies on at least punching their ticket to get there. On the other side of the Cavs, listen, they're not really a team that we talked about a lot in terms of championship contenders. So I got to give credit to those ladies as well. They've fought their way to get there, and they've earned their spot, right? So they have a chance to knock off not one of the heavyweight of this division. Like Dalia Charbonneau, she's a talented player. I've kept about 2 of the games this year. I've seen Leticia Faubert play before. They have talent on this team, so it's not as if they got here by some fluke and they're going to be we're lucky to be here. No, not at all. These ladies are going to come to play, and on both sides, and rightfully so. I can't see the Cavs. I don't think it's going to be a blow like it was in the regular season finale, but I still can't see them coming up, with enough scores to beat the chaos unless they're able to turn the ball over multiple times off of Allison Sobo, which she's a veteran quarterback. She knows what she's doing. Will that happen? It can. It's happened before, but will the Cavaliers be able to make it happen? We're going to wait and find out. I still think, though, even if they get 1 or 2 turnovers, I still think chaos will find a way to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think, it's kind of what you're saying. I don't think Cavs have enough firepower to go head to head with the Cavs. And again, same thing regarding defense as well too. I don't know how many stops you're gonna be. I don't know how many stops you're able to make until Allison kind of just explodes and gets on the board. Like I don't see this game being 12-7, where in some cases your defense kind of controls it and keeps you in the game. Where I think maybe you'll get 1 stop here or there. I just think chaos is going to explode, and it's to a point, when are they going to explode? Are they going to explode in the first half, or are they going to explode in the second half? You want them to explode in the second half, so the first half it's still close enough where, kind of like Valhalla kind of did it, where Cavs kind of chaos exploded in the first, I want to say 10 minutes, and then they cooled down and they had a great finish. So if you're kind of if you're the Cavaliers, you kind of just want to make it kind of the same point, where you want to make sure the game's in reach, and it's not where it's not out of reach too early on, right? Like you don't want it to be 20-6 at halftime, because if it's 26 at halftime, I don't think you're coming back from there. You want it to be, again, 13-7, and you get the ball second half, something where it's manageable. You score, then you kind of try to play catch up to a point where you're still in reach to kind of make it a game, compared to being down by 12, compared to being down by double digits going into the second half.
Well, I mean, listen, we go back to last season, right? And Chaos lost. Chaos lost the Division II championship to the Citadines, right? I know Allison Sobel threw 2 INTs in that game. Athena Ryan, who threw for the Citadines, only threw 1. That game was wire. Went down to the last little bit here. Chaos actually scored the Citadine in the second half. So again, turnovers are how you beat chaos. It's whether the Cavaliers can force enough of them, and then once they get the ball, they have to also capitalize on it and turn those turnovers into points. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I think chaos is good enough to get the job done here. As do you.
Yeah.
So quick update here. So I got a text back from Rashani Mish. So she said, Victoria Bouchard did not play in her last meeting against Lehibu. And not only that, she's like, we're not stressed about playing Lehibu this weekend. She's like, I go, are you guaranteeing a victory? She said, yes. She's like, I'm guaranteeing a victory, and we'll have our superstar there for sure. So, little trash talk with the bulletin board material right there in this matchup between She Sparks and Lehibu for the Women's 3 Championship.
All right, let's go to Women's 1 to finish it off.
Yeah, wrap it up. On that note, I think I might be changing my pick to She Sparks. Yeah, man, I'll stick with Lehibu, but now now that we confirmed Victoria Bouchard didn't play, the fact that she's playing now does change things, but it is what it is. I said Lehibu. I want to stick with Lehibu.
Okay.
There you go.
Um,
All right, yeah. So
um,
women's one to wrap it up here.
yeah. So I want to give a quick recap for both the games and
Sure.
semifinals.
Go for it. Go for it.
Zero played Blue Bud. Blue Bud didn't have their quarterback, so that game ended 40-0. I mean, it is what it is. And then Keyon played Matrix, where Matrix didn't have their quarterback either, so that game ended 32-6. So nothing to kind of really talk about. Nothing really. The score is the reason why there's two blowouts because both teams didn't have their quarterbacks, and the other teams pretty much had their full squad. And when you don't have your quarterback, again, I think everyone kind of knows it makes it super difficult to kind of play. When you're playing versus best of the best, you want to make sure your quarterback's there to kind of keep you in your game. And it was a factor where both these teams didn't have their quarterbacks, so they weren't able to keep it. They weren't able to keep themselves in the game.
Yeah. Good. Listen, look, Cayenne played with who they had, and as a Matrix, shout out to Cayenne for getting that W. I mean, they had a Thea Ryan, right, playing for Matrix. It's not as if they had a scrub. They had a quarterback who's more than capable and has won. Like I said, she's won a championship last year in women's two. Obviously, women's two and women's one are a bit different, but still, they had a sub who had big game experience. But yeah, shout out to Cayenne again. Cayenne, like I said last week a little bit. I know they're going through some injuries and whatnot right now. So they're a little banged up, and I know some of the players are a little upset about some Team Canada roster choices, if you will. But again, shout out to them. They made they got the W. They made the final. So tying against Sub Zero, the next chapter. That story kind of writes itself, right? All the players on both sides who are sitting up for this game, right? I mean, we can go through them quickly here. Carolyn Moquin, Joubert, obviously Catherine Gaumont, Emily Carrier, I mean Sabrina Gervais, Sarah Parker, obviously Mathilde, Seville. The list goes on and on. Right for Sub Zero, same thing for the other side, right? Alexandre Fournier. I'm not sure if Annie Tyre's legacy is going to be there, but I mean, Charlie Toivonen, a lot of great players on both sides, right? On both teams, MRSC, right? The list goes on and on. These are some of the top players, not just in the country, but in the world, right? Playing women's ball here. So I'm looking forward to this latest matchup between these two teams. Looking at the standings here, Sub-Zero, pardon me, sorry, regular season Sub-Zero, I believe they finished first in the standings here in this division. So I'm just waiting for my bad to pop up on my screen. It's giving me the playoff standings, not the regular season.
Sub-Zero finished 8-2, Cayenne finished 6-4.
Okay, exactly. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Looking at the regular season, these teams played. I know so Cayenne with a big win in week 10 by a score of 27-7 over Sub-Zero, and then Sub-Zero getting revenge in the regular season finale on April 15th, so less than a month ago, winning by a score of 35-19, right? So one game's a blowout, and then the second game's kind of a blowout too. Going back to that first game, so Sarah Parker was not there. Genevieve Forte, she had 1 touchdown passes and 5 INTs, so that's obviously a big difference right there. Sabrina Gervais did not play as well for Sub-Zero, right? So the two captains, the two main leaders on this team, not in the lineup, right? Whereas it looked like Cayenne had more or less a bit fuller of a squad. We go actually multiple players actually for Sub-Zero, not just Gervais and Parker were not there for that game. Moquin and Joubert wasn't there as well, right? So I mean, those are some big losses, right? So that's why the score was what the score was in a rematch, right? Like I said, took place on April 15th. Parker was back. Moquin and Joubert was back. Gaumont was back, right? So a lot of the regular faces. Sarah Parker 5 TDs in that one. Sandrine Gobet, he had 3 TDs. She wasn't in that first game. She played in the second. She had 3 TD passes in that first game. Like I said earlier, though, right? Obviously, these two teams have battled time and time again. It's usually an instant classic when they do. Not so much in the regular season, but definitely, or hopefully this weekend in the playoffs. How do you see this game shaking out?
I think it's going to be sorry, my dog is crying over here. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm interested to see who's exactly going to show up on both these teams, right? It's kind of, I know some of these girls are banged up. Some of them have Team Canada practices. I think it's a big issue, big factor. I think also some of them don't want to be hurt. mean, the last thing you want to do is get hurt before. I think they're going to Germany in a couple months. So I think a lot of them are just they're doing a lot of practices, and they're not really competing as much. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to show up, who's not going to show up. But I think it's going to be a great game, either or. I'm kind of going one-sided towards more Sub-Zero, just because I think they're going to have more of their squad compared to Keyon. I think Kayon's it's been up and down with their roster. I don't think it's like some of these girls are here, some they're not there. Again, injury is also a big factor. So I think I'm siding more towards Sub-Zero just because I think they're going to be a full squad. I think the only girl that they're all going to miss, I think the only girl they're probably going to miss is going to be Jasmine Farmer, because she is hurt. But I think all the other girls that are eligible to play, I think they're all going to be there. I think Mathel Sable, I think she's also hurt as well too. So I think they're going to be missing her. But regarding, they're going to have their main core: Caroline, Catherine, Lachapelle, Jessica Schmieder, Laura. I think they're going to have more of their squad other than Keyon. I think it's going to be I think that's going to be a big factor, especially on the offensive side, because I think Sarah's going to have better communication with the girls that she has around her. So I think that's going to be a big factor. But I am curious to see who's going to be showing up for more Keyon side. So I think that's going to be something interesting to see. But I'm looking forward for it to be a good game.
100%. I mean, it's a rivalry game, right? So, I mean, usually those games, no matter who's missing and who's in the lineup, usually those games tend to be better because, again, these teams know each other extremely well, and they've battled in FPF, they've battled internationally, they've battled pretty much everywhere all across the world, literally, right? So, I mean, hopefully it's going to be another great matchup in this latest chapter between Keyon and Sub-Zero. That pretty much wraps it up. Again, championship weekend coming up this Saturday and Sunday down in Brossard at Complex CN. That's, of course, going to be May 16th to Saturday and May 17th to Sunday. Make sure to come and check it out either in person, or if you can't make it in person, watch obviously on Facebook Live. Watch it on YouTube channel. Again, don't forget we have instant replay. We'll have, is that a touchdown? Is it not? Was that an INT? Did a foot go out of bounds? Was that a tackle before the goal line? Well, if we're not sure, the referees mess up. If they're not sure either, you can find out using instant replay. So that's obviously something really special that we have for you guys lined up. There's post-game interviews, again, trophy presentations, banner presentations. I know we have something special this year. I think that, on the Sunday, we have some time. There's but in a 1 hour block where there's nothing really scheduled. So we want to kind of run some promo videos. If you want to come on and be maybe part of a promo video or something, feel free to come onto the field. Come see us in the broadcast area. We can maybe shoot something. Don't forget, obviously, the spring/summer season is starting May 21st. So we'll have only a couple of days off, and we're back at it next week. So May 21st is going to be Thursday. So spring season starts next Thursday. I know Quaysie's playing. I'm playing. It's going to be a lot of fun. The weather's getting better slowly but surely outside. Trust me, I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but it's getting slowly better. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, just want to say thank you guys for watching each episode this season. Shout out to Tali Reza, who's our producer tonight, usually our main producer. Shout out to Omar. I know Omar is not technically with us anymore, but he produced last week's episode, so shout out to him as well, and both of you guys for all the work and the patience you've had with us and getting all the videos, getting all the clips and that, and doing all the shorts that we see on Instagram and that. So big shout out to you guys, because we would not be here without you guys. And shout out to you guys at home who listen to this every week. I know a lot of you guys come up and always have positive and kind words for myself, Quaysie. Come and chat with us. We're calling a bunch of games this weekend in Brossard. I know last Sunday was Mother's Day. Hopefully all the moms out there had a great Mother's Day. You guys deserve it. Yeah, it's been a fun season. Mm-hmm. I hate winter. Winter sucks, but one thing I look forward to winter is FPF. So I'm really glad we had a great season this year, and I'm ready for the fun that's coming up in the spring/summer.
Yeah, we agree with you. But yeah, good luck to all the teams that are also playing in the championship weekend. Again, we're kind of saying it's fun, and try to go out there and win a winter championship, because literally, as we're kind of saying, I think me and Brent both agree, winning a winter championship is probably the most impressive championship to win. So, and a lot of you'll be kind of surprised the amount of players and also teams that don't get a chance to be able to win a winter championship. So, just make sure you go out there, give it all you got, and hopefully you get one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, this is the reason why you guys, why we all sign up, right? We pay our money, we work out, we practice, we have fun, we play some games, try to get yourself better in the gym or wherever you're at the track, wherever you want to go, right? This is what it's for. This is championship weekend. FPF is the kings or the queens as well, right? Of championship. No one offers what we can offer for championship weekends. This is why you got to come out and watch in person or watch online, and just it's FPF, it's championship weekend. It does not get any bigger than that. So come out and check it out and say what's up. And again, like Quaysie said, congrats to all the teams that'll be playing. It's going to be an exciting time. Make sure to check it out. This has been the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. Final episode of the 2026 winter season. Again, thank you guys for tuning in every week. And we'll be back 100% for the spring season, which starts next week. See you guys. Be easy.
Put the place up. Yeah, we